ride of that, if you wait too long, no, you'll end up in no man's land.
All right, this morning I did a story on the fact that these advertisers put their commercials on the internet. And the first one, a little history here. The first one was, remember that the little boy Darth Vader ad in 2011?
I do.
Okay, that was the first one to actually go on the internet first. I think it was on Facebook, and everybody thought, oh my God, you've already seen the commercial, who's going to watch it? As a matter of fact, the demand went up, and it turned out more people wanted to watch it and did, sort of as a sequel. And now everybody's doing it. Your take on that?
I think it should be now, as we see more of these spots end up on the internet, I think they should debate at the Super Bowl, and then people will seek them out online, and you'll see a lot of advertisers. They'll use that same ad in perpetuity for the next 2 months afterwards. I think it has more impact when people see it at the Super Bowl and then go to find it afterward. If I see an ad before the Super Bowl, it doesn't mean as much, and I'm not as curious, and I'm not surprised at all when it shows up during the Super Bowl. And I think it has a shorter leg in the minds of many.
So how do you reconcile that? Because I agree with you completely. The anticipation of never having seen an ad before, watching the Super Bowl as much for the commercials as the game, and there's a good chunk of people that watch the Super Bowl for the commercials, and you would think it would be diluted if they watched the ads beforehand. Everybody is running ads beforehand. I don't think there is one advertiser that is not. And so how do you reconcile that? Because I can't.
I'm not sure I can reconcile it. I guess I can theorize that from a marketing standpoint, if you're going to pay $7 million for an ad and there's already interest in people seeing the Super Bowl, why not get more bang for your buck, supposedly, and have people be able to find it on YouTube for the game, and so you're getting more than just that 30-second hit during the live game. I disagree with that, but they're the marketing professionals and experts. I just wouldn't do it that way, because put it this way: the big trailers like that Qualcomm is going to be doing, or the big movie ones, you're not going to see those in advance. They're going to make sure that you wait for the actual Super Bowl to watch it for that reason.
And I'm assuming are you an ad watcher on the Super Bowl, a game, or both?
I try to do both, but it depends on where I watch the Super Bowl. If I'm in a place where there are a lot of people, it's almost impossible to hear all the ads with the intricacies and the subtle jokes and everything. If I'm at home, I'll pay more attention to the ads.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Isn't that fun? Just having a rip-roaring good time where everybody is eating guacamole. Mo, thank you. And we'll talk about probably, well, maybe not. I'm sure you're going to talk about
Probably not.
Well, okay, and here's a moving away from politics. All right, fair enough. All right, well, you have a good one tonight, 7 to 10 p.m. At Mr. Mo Kelly is the social address. Mo, I'll catch you over the weekend. All right. Janet. Hi, young lady. Super Bowl coming up. And of all the people that really know sports backwards and forwards, particularly football, it is you. Are you a Super Bowl game watcher? Commercials, or certainly the game?
Person, not really. Like, I try to watch all the commercials either before or after, because everyone's yapping during the commercials, And you don't want to be the spoiled sport that, looks like a poltergeist girl in front of the television and not engaged in the, socialization of Super Bowl Sunday. I'm actually excited about this game. I think it's going to be a good game. Some years you're like, blowout, no way. But this one's going to be close, I think.
Who's going to win?
I believe the Chiefs will win. I don't believe the Eagles defense is as good as it has been hyped up to be.
I would get into the intricacies of this, but I don't understand it on your level, so we're not even going to pretend.
Well, to that end, the Super Bowl week gets so tedious there today as well, this week in Phoenix. But the questions that are asked of the coaches, of the players, are just so ridiculous. And we'll talk about it. I mean, asking Andy Reid who his favorite 3 current rappers are. Have you seen Andy Reid?
Yeah.
How much rap music do you think Andy Reid listens to?
That's a good point.
Asking the coach of the Eagles, is this a must-win game? It's the Super Bowl, you jackass.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know if you've ever been in, and I have not been, but Louisville, Kentucky Derby.
I have not been.
Okay, it is a week, and it's like Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I mean a full week, and it's a 2-minute race.
Right. Yeah, that is insane. And you have to wear a dress and a hat.
That's
to celebrate his first anniversary with his wife and Rosarito and ends up dead. She's finally talking about what happened that night and her experience. So we'll get into that because it's fascinating. Such a mystery around that. Mexico says he was drunk, fell over a balcony. She says he was a victim of a vicious murder. So we'll get into that.
Okay, lots to talk about. And a quick reminder, I am taking phone calls for Handle on the Law off the air. You can still listen to Gary and Shannon on the phone while you're on hold. It's not going to be very long. I just get through these phone calls for commercials and everything. And the number is 877-520-1150. That's 877-520-1150. I'm going to start in just a moment off the air. Coming up, Gary and Shannon, right here, KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Mood enhancing, pharmacy grade, stimulating talk.
KFI.
KOST 62.
My handler on time.
Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
Hope is dwindling. I'm Jennifer Jones, live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. The number of people killed in a magnitude 7.8 earthquake that hit Turkey and Syria has grown to more than 19,000. Rescuers searching through the rubble of collapsed buildings have been finding survivors, but ABC's Andrew Gimberg says time is running out.
The first critical 72 hours have now passed. The white helmet rescue team sending a camera into the rubble, finding a young man pinned down.
They're right here.
Carefully chipping away at the twisted metal and debris. They were able to free him and a woman.
He says a family of 4 from New York City died in quake while visiting family in Syria. The Turkish Cultural Center in Irvine is gathering supplies, including coats and hand warmers, to send to people affected by the earthquake in Turkey.
It's across 7 major cities in Turkey. And it's built throughout 88 cities. In that area, including Northern Syria. So it's 7.8 magnitude.
And Anatolia's Cultural Center, says that he knows more than a dozen families in Southern California who have lost loved ones. Volunteers at the Cultural Center are also working to raise donations for a nonprofit organization that are being accepted until Monday. An LA County Sheriff's deputy claims a new deputy gang is forming at the East LA station. KFI's Blake Crowley reports live the revelation has been made in the lawsuit.
Multiple people spoke against the motion. Please do not divide this community this way. It is an extremely small gesture of love.
The filing of the price word shows the our community is inclusive.
We would be taking a step back to implement this purely for that burn says this motion, which passed 4-3 this week, is about everyone having equal value. He says it's not about the pride flag. I think it's divisive, and I think it's sad that it got turned into what it was. It wasn't anything against the gay community or anything. I got niece and nephew that are both gay. I love them dearly. Documentation the team agreed. True inclusion by definition, represents everyone equally. As an American, as a resident of California. Councilwoman Natalie Goldberg says in 20 years, that's backwards.
By removing the pride flag, we send a message out to people that we are safe and we are inclusive and we are welcoming.
Councilman Dan Chalmers says it's an unnecessary PR nightmare. Who wants the Olympics in 2028? Who wants to certain venue and maybe another venue? And the Olympics is about inclusivity. And I think it's just a black eye coming to me. In Huntington Beach, Corbin Carson, KFI News.
A Gold Light Principal has testified in LA at the Anthony Avalos murder trial. The 10-year-old boy's mom and her live-in boyfriend are accused of killing him in 2018. The school official told the court yesterday the boy told her in 2015 was being accused, and she reported it. The number of people in LA County in the hospital with COVID-19 has jumped back over 700. 18 more deaths have also been reported. The 7-day average daily rate of people in the county testing positive for the virus was 5.9% as of Wednesday. President Biden headed to Florida to speak to retirees. ABC's Andy Field says Biden plans to tell them Republicans want to cut Medicare and Social Security.
Florida Senator Rick Scott made that proposal. One reason President Biden is bringing that fight to the Sunshine State, saying Republicans want to undermine those retirement plans seniors depend on.
Analysts say Biden wants to use Social Security and Medicare to drive a wedge between Republican lawmakers and their base of older voters, leaving Republican lawmakers instead. Cuts to Social Security and Medicare are off the table. Taking a look at your KFI financial report brought to you by SaddlebackEye.com. Right now, the Dow is up 59, S&P is up 7, NASDAQ is up 26, and the average price of a gallon of unleaded gas in California is $4.63.
For a limited time, get up to $1,800 off LinkedIn from SaddlebackEye.com.
SoCal weather from KFI. We've got a sunny day ahead. Temperatures will be in the mid to upper 70s. Then it looks like at night we're going to drop back into the 40s. Starting tomorrow, our temperatures will be in the low 60s. Clouds start to roll in on Saturday with a chance of rain all the way through next Tuesday. Right now it is 49 in Laguna Hills, 60 in Pacoima, 50 in Downey. Let's get a look at your drive with DKFI in the sky and Jeff Ball.
Had a whole slew of problems there. First one, we just saw we just made this stuff up a little while ago, but now haven't had a Firestone and another problem past the road. Big problem at the moment is south of that, now transition. So it's south of the 710 dash to 91 at Long Beach Boulevard. That's where they started blocking the left lane. So there's be careful coming down now. It's going to end this falling. But after that, a fairly good drive all the way down to the harbor. Northbound coming out of Long Beach. Usual morning drive slow coming up towards 405 and then again up to about farm. So not too bad. Now, if you're leaving Burbank, it's one of those mornings. It's really slow. Coming away from the 176, the slowest northbound Hollywood Way. Now it's slowing, so you're not stopped solid. It's going to stay there with them to about a little bit before those Steelers. There was a problem downward over to the shoulder. Just have a look at that as well. Once that turn in the valley, still the surface street problem. When that guy Nordoff, when that gets closed, both directions just out Nordoff, LAD activity, bad crash happened a lot earlier. And in Hollywood now, it's just on us. Last night, there was a horrendous fire pretty much at the corner of Blanket and Yucca. We just put over it. The streets are open. The fire department is still full. You want to be a firefighter? They have to put the fire out. Now they got to clean up after it. But fire department is still there on one of the curb lanes. But again, it's Blanket and Yucca. So please, just be careful. This hour is brought to you by your Southern California Toyota dealers. Let's go places.
Millions of people are looking for work, and almost 70% of Americans are looking for extra work. So why is it so hard to find the right candidate? I've had a tough time for 30 years. It's simple. We're using the wrong platform. Here's an answer. JobGet.com. JobGet is the new, unique way to post the job you're looking to fill and finding that perfect candidate and quickly. With other hiring sites, your job posting is flooded with thousands of resumes who just don't cut it. With JobGet, your top candidates are already endorsed for their skills. Your candidates get immediate notifications in their JobGet app, letting you know you're ready to talk. And most jobs receive their first applicant within the first 6 minutes. Post your first job for free, chat with qualified candidates within minutes when you go to jobget.com/handle. That's jobget.com/handle. This really works. Visit jobget.com/handle.
It can be dangerous or easy to steal your identity during tax season because so much sensitive info goes all together.
Before we start the annual meeting of John's personal info, has anyone seen Social Security numbers?
Not me. Nope.
Oh no.
She's been stolen. LifeLock by Norton makes it easy to help protect yourself. If you become a victim, you'll work to fix it. No one can monitor all transactions, but you can save up to 25% off your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Identity theft protection starts here. Democrats just want to win the next election, and they're trying to do it with ceaseless money printing. They do not care if the advantage is critical to protect retirement right now with a gold IRA from Birch Gold Group. To learn more, get a free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word shelter to 989898. There's nothing to buy and no obligation at all. Text the word shelter to 989898 to get a free info kit on gold.
Experience and results. If you've been injured, 888 OPO wins.
More stimulating talk.
An iHeartRadio station.
This is Big Sean.
Where's the harmony?
This is Jerry Hum.
This is how we make it on night. This is
Shannon Barron. Jerry.
What's up, guys? This is Justin Bieber.
Shannon.
And we are behind the scenes.
Jerry and Shannon.
Suspicious of anyone will be a threat to that family. And having 40 plus siblings is a great way to sow distress and suspicion within a family. Anyhow, John Mayer spent much of his youth life in the military, as Judy battled to rebel. These people from the frontier.
We're not doing this all day. It's
He's a kid.
He did the King Circuit in 1968. I don't. Not my way.
World needs now. You.
I don't like the sugary. I mean, I know the man just died, and I'm not trying to disgrace his name.
You're 100% trying to disgrace his name.
But I don't like that sugary, jivey, poppy, like Motown. Not a Burt Bacharach person.
It's fun for everybody.
Did you see Jamie's face when I said, "What's new, pussycat"?
Wait, no, baby, it's a
Your face said everything.
I think him a list of Burt Bacharach songs and he said, oops. Which I understand. I get it. I know why. Okay, we have a bunch of igers yesterday. Really didn't, they weren't as eye-opening as we expected, but there was a couple of times where the Twitter people said, yeah, we pretty much screwed up.
We know everything about Mr. Biden at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, the man was trying to snort cheese off the floor.
And he joked about it, like how I probably snorted more Parmesan than anybody in the world.
There's nothing we don't know about Hunter Biden. We've seen the pictures, we've seen the naked pictures, we know all the tales. But it is fun to revisit, isn't it?
We'll talk about that. Top of the next hour, we're going to get into this story that ABC News, the Orange County Register, we've talked about it before. The story of the Orange County Public Defender who died in Mexico under very, very mysterious circumstances. And there's for Elliot and his wife. As they were headed back to the hotel and took them down for some money, saying that they had rolled through a stop sign or some bogus BS like that.
I remember going on my senior trip back in the 90s and the warning that you do not want interaction with the federales. You do not want interaction with the Mexican police because they are so corrupt. And just don't be that person.
That's always been the recipe.
Absolutely. So definitely not something that is unheard of, but yet another wrinkle in what continues to be a huge mystery. Coming up next, we'll get into the spy balloon in China. That balloon was reportedly equipped with antennas, solar panels, large enough to power sensors. This was not a meteorological balloon. All right, this was definitely a spy balloon.
But we start with the death toll inching ever closer to 20,000 after the earthquakes in Turkey and Syria. ABC's Marcus Moore is talking a little bit about it.
These members, some of them from Los Angeles, are just one among the thousands of searchers and rescuers who have been working in a large swath of destruction that stretches for hundreds of miles here in Turkey. And a declaration of emergency has been declared in 10 cities here in the country. And 3 days after the earthquake, there are some rural areas that have yet to be reached.
Yeah, that he points to one of the reasons why this has been so difficult is that this was a massive, massive area that was impacted by the earthquake. It's a land where a lot of people live.
23 million people live in the impacted areas. 23 million.
And even if the death toll does expand by tens of thousands, you're going to have 5 times that number who are injured, and then all probably 23 million of them impacted by the fact that they're not going to have clean water, they're not going to have food sources, they're not going to have electricity, they're not going to have the ability to keep themselves in these very cold conditions. It is as awful as the collapse of 6,000 buildings is in the original earthquake. It almost sounds like it has the potential to get worse before it gets any better.
I mentioned yesterday, or asked the question, does this make Syria kind of have a moment of reckoning with a 12-year-long civil war? Have enough people died in that civil war and with this natural disaster now that maybe comes to the table and cooler heads prevail? Make no mistake about it, when your country is in a civil war, think about what that does to any sort of organization when it comes to a rescue effort.
Yeah, plus the state itself, the government of Syria has not been helping out in some of these rebel-held parts of the country. They're relying on what they refer to as non-state actors, the white helmets. Remember the stories during the original Syrian civil war early on, these white helmet groups of people that were basically responders, whether it was fire, police, first aid, paramedics, they wore white helmets and would go into those areas that had been bombed out or attacked by government forces and try to save anybody they could. That is an aid group that has been supported by international aid organizations, the United States, Britain, for example, but they've already been the scene of all kinds of shelling and bombing, etc. So an earthquake on top of that just makes things that much worse.
Goran Kuzat is a 20-year-old student from Istanbul who was visiting relatives when the earthquake dropped, and he was buried in the rubble, trapped with his relatives. He uploaded a video describing his address in detail, begging for help. Whoever sees this, WhatsApp status, please come and help, he wrote. Please everyone come and rescue us now. Rescuers were able to find him using that WhatsApp status. He said, I had my telephone with me, so I thought that if I shared video on social media, my friends could see it, they could reach us, and that's how they found it. His ID story, begging for help under a pile of concrete. I don't know if I'll die or stay alive, he said. Later was saved.
Amazing that they have service.
Yeah.
You know, that they've got the ability to actually reach out, which may be one of the incredible pieces of technology that gives them some hope.
Coming up next, the Chinese spy balloon shot down by our military over the Atlantic was able fleet of surveillance balloons. We'll get into the details when we return.
Jerry Shannon will continue. Jennifer Jones Lee is live in the camp.
Announcing a restructuring plan that would result in 7,000 jobs being cut. And there's some good news if you like the hot, easy, great it is National Pizza Day. Shops and retailers across the U.S. are offering discounts and deals in honor of the occasion. SoCal weather from KFI, nice and sunny and warm today with highs in the mid to upper 70s. This report is brought to you by Lowe's. Let's get a look at your drive with VKFI in the sky. The time is the 7:10.
Still, did you say National Pizza Day?
Yes, it is. It is also National Bagel and Lox Day.
Oh, dear Lord. I'm making myself into a video. Good morning to you. If you're coming down to the 7th, well, we've been focused on this a lot this morning. There's been a lot going on here. Now, the drive is okay until you get to about Florence. There's a whole bunch of problems. They're not major problems, but enough to slow you down. South 710 at Fire, 105. At Rose Grand, south of that. At Alondra, it wasn't 91. And Long Beach Boulevard. Caltrans is doing some emergency road work in the left lane. Looking down, it's nothing but the work down there. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. So it's going to take you some time to get down to the harbor and do what you got to do. That's for sure. Better news for the northbound drive now coming out of the harbor. It's okay, really. Those slow getting out of the harbor and up towards 405, but I think you'll be okay. And earlier we were looking for an unusual problem eastbound. Santa Monica Freeway at Texas, whatever it was. So it's just a little slow coming to mid-city over towards 110. Westbound, well, you should be used to it. It's kind of slow. Let's move out to by Robert. Jeff Long, KFI in the sky. Yes, friends. Check out what's happening at your local Lowe's. Weekend Lowe's gives you and your family the opportunity to weekend destination with free events, workshops, and more. Visit Lowe's.com/events for this month's full lineup.
This report is sponsored by Whole Foods Market. Prime members, start your love affair at Whole Foods Market. A double dozen bunch of roses is only $24.99 through February 14th. Head in store for all your delicious desires. While supplies last. Shop in store or online. Terms apply. Are you a business owner, CEO, or responsible for marketing? If you are, iHeartMedia can help you reach your goals and find new customers. We reach more customers in your target area than anyone else, and we can give you access to those potential customers more cost effectively across radio, digital, podcasting, and social. We'd love to show you how iHeartMedia can work for you. Get started today at iHeartAdvertising.com. That's iHeartAdvertising.com.
Bill Handle here, and if you have a legal question and you want marginal legal advice, you can call me right now, because I'll help you off the air. 877-520-1150. That's 877-520-1150. Right now. Here are some homeowner headaches we fix together. Legacy Rejuvenation, where we help you prevent breakdowns by performing 6 critical adjustments for just $129. Another one here on Paul Mini Drain for just $80 with a 30-foot drain set. And we're on call 24/7, 365 days a year. In our Grand service is just $80. Still nice at base price. Get a fair conditioning and money. ViralRabbi.com. We do things the right way, not the easy way. We talk about how complicated other banks make it to redeem credit card rewards. Or we can talk about how with Discover, you can redeem your rewards for cash in any amount at any time. Talk about a basic. Learn more at discover.com/redeem-rewards. Terms apply. Every year you vow to get healthier, and yet you still drink 8 to 10 glasses of tap water a day. What chemicals are you putting in your body? Stop worrying and get a Puritan water, whole house filtration, conditioning, softening, anti-scaling. Right now, get the Puritan whole house water system for just $49 a month. And it comes with a free 6-stage reverse osmosis alkaline purification system. Plus free lifetime travel. Again, water.com, PuritanWater.com.
We're Barron's #1 rated independent financial advisory firm 5 years running. You can be confident you're getting integrated wealth management advice, including tax planning, estate planning, insurance, and more. An experienced and trusted investment advisory firm. Take advantage of a complimentary wealth check with a planner who puts your needs first. No sales pressure and no obligation. When it comes to your financial well-being, you can count on the top-rated independent financial advisory firm in the nation. Visit Edelman Financial Engine at efewealthplanners.com. That's efewealthplanners.com. Barron's rating order daily, December 28, 2022.
At Steele Brothers, you know a good burger starts with the best beef. Try our fresh signature gourmet burger patties today at just $5.99 a pound. Homemade daily from 100% Angus beef with seasoning mix. Like jalapeno, bacon cheddar, and more. Steele Brothers Market. Fresh, affordable, community first. On the Exorcist Files podcast. The leading exorcist in demonology. Share stories of disturbing and vicious cases of possession. For the last 2 decades, Father Carlos Martin has encountered evil in nearly every way imaginable. Staying at the priest. All of that has not been a movie for me. I have seen that firsthand. Listen to the Exorcist Files on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts. The AI search wars are heating up thanks to ChatGPT. This week, Google showed off Bard, its next generation AI search engine, and Microsoft unveiled a new thing, which, you guessed it, uses AI for search. We'll take a look at how they compare. Rich on Tech with Rich DeMiro, Saturday morning at 11 on KFI. And on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app.
Representatives from the cities of Capital. Before we head back to the streets of Chicago, Jonah, President of Brooklyn,
We're not doing
For the area channel.
I can't do this all day.
Stay up with AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio.
Jamie, this will be the last one.
I am stuck between a rock. You do what they feel like.
I can't do this back rack all day. I like drive my head off.
You have birth motion. Well, yes, rest in peace. 94 years old. He wrote everything, it seems like, for about 15 years back in the 60s and 70s.
I'll give him the soundtrack to Arthur. That was a good, the best that I can do. Roofing of the
How about
house.
this? We'll do one segment on Bird Back Rack,
And then we'll be done.
and then we'll be done. We'll do that in a couple of We'll do that just yet. Before we get into our tiny blue and the president's interview last night, we got $1,000 to give away. Here's how you can win it. Now, your chance to win $1,000. Just enter the nationwide keyword on our website, Bills. That's Bills, BILLS. Enter it now at AFIAM640.com/cash. Powered by Big Games Accident Attorneys. If you're not an accident, winning is everything. Call the winning attorney this week, James. 800-500-5200. That's 800-500-5200 or sweetgames.com. And of course, those words, those keywords go on to the website, AFIAM640.com/cash. And then email is where you're going to be notified if you win that.
Well, as we have learned, that Chinese spy balloon that was shot down was capable of collecting communication signals, part of a fleet of surveillance balloons directed by the Chinese military that has flown over more than 40 countries across 5 continents, this according to the State Department today.
I still don't have a great explanation as to why we now know how widespread this thing was when last week we're like, what? A balloon for spying? And now we know that there's dozens of instances of it.
What I would like to believe is that the intelligence community, the State Department, does me keep secrets from the American public. I don't need to know everything. I don't think everybody needs to know everything in terms of
We'd probably get poopy in our pants if we knew everything.
exactly.
But if part of what the argument to make Joe Biden look better in response to what happened last week, but part of their argument is, well, it happened during the Trump administration, but anybody who had any access to this information during the Trump administration had said, we were never told about it. It's one thing to not tell you and I. It's another thing to not tell the national security advisor that someone is talking on us using a balloon. Now, I think that those can both be true. I think that this could have happened before, but the intelligence apparatus of our country didn't know what it was. They probably a little out of the habit of as slow and as large as a balloon. So it maybe didn't rise to the level of, we're not quite sure what it is, but we don't choose to think that it's a spy balloon.
Well, U.S. officials say that we don't know exactly what kinds of communications the satellite was trying to collect. They have not determined what type the balloon was targeting. I'm hoping that that is under the umbrella of things they know but don't want us to know. I'd rather that be the case than them not know.
Right, which may also explain the military desire to keep that thing in the air, keep that thing going for 4 days. If that was going to give them some indication of maybe what they were looking at and looking for, maybe that's part of the value of keeping it up and not shooting it down until they get over the water.
Apparently, the spy balloons observed during the Trump administration were initially classified as unidentified aerial phenomena. And that's what I brought up earlier on in the week when I said, we hear about these UFOs or unidentified aerial phenomena all the time. Are they UFOs? No, they're probably drones or spy balloons from foreign entities.
Yeah.
That's more believable.
Yeah, and then what we saw last week was somebody going, wait a minute, this same radar signature or whatever that it looks like on the machine and the speed and the altitude and things like that, we've seen this before a dozen times. Those things must have also been balloons. So President Biden was asked about this.
Yeah, President Biden sat down with Judy Woodruff for an interview fresh off the State of the Union address, and it is and God bless them, and I am not an ageist. I do believe that 80 is not old in 2023.
65.
But it's still 80, and this is two 80-year-olds sitting at the end of the home during arts and crafts.
Yeah, and there was a bowl of hard
I was going to say the bar, but they're too old for the bar. It's at the end of the home.
There's a bowl of hard candy,
Yeah.
and one of them was drinking
Butterscotch.
hot water.
Yeah.
Apparently, relations now between the U.S. and China have taken a big hit.
No,
How do you know?
I know.
You talked to
Certain Xi Jinping before, and our chief talks to the people.
during this.
It isn't after I haven't talked to them during this.
No. What?
It's not good.
After, but not during.
Shooting down a balloon that's gathering information of America.
Pass the glue gun.
Whoops. Look, I need to go say to Xi Jinping,
Bingo starts at 10.
we're going to compete fully with China.
Do you have another blanket over there?
We're confident.
It's cold.
And
That's a good chill.
that's been the case so far.
So he did
Holy hell.
Xi Jinping before the balloon thing, not during or after the balloon thing.
No, he said after. In his response, he goes, after, not during. It's like he kind of mumbles through after, not during.
So the Xi Jinping before, our chief talks to the people.
During this.
It isn't after, I haven't talked to them during this.
After, but not the during. This isn't.
That's a big deal. Has he talked to him after? Because he starts to say after and doesn't enter.
Well, part of the communication thing, when Anthony Blinken, our Secretary of State, decided to pull out of the weekend meeting that he was going to have in Beijing, my understanding is that the Secretary of Defense, also Lloyd Austin, drops a dime and tries to get a hold of China's corresponding official, whatever they call it, the foreign defense minister, whatever guy. And they didn't even take the phone call. So it's clear, if all you do is read the press releases from you are doing. I think we're fully within our rights to do what we did, but it's a bizarre thing. Oh, I want to play for you also. Maybe when we come back. Speaking of, I need a blanket, and bingo starts in 10, and the hard candies are harder, and they come out in one chunk. She leans over and asks him, "Are you too old to run for president?"
He's like, "Are you too old to be doing this interview?" Good Lord.
Your aim channel will continue in just a moment.
Yeah, we've got vodka, cocaine, guns. It's all coming up next.
Yeah.
Thank you, Hunter Biden.
Jennifer Jones-Lee has an update.
Employees will have to find new work. The British-based Walt Disney Company says 7,000 jobs are being cut as part of a $5.5 billion cost-cutting effort. CEO Bob Iger announced the cuts yesterday during an earnings call. No details on where the layoffs would be made or how quickly. Iger says the company's organizational structure was being changed, with the company being divided into 3 divisions: Disney Entertainment, ESPN, and Parks, Experiences, and Products. Deborah Mark, KFI News. An antitrust watchdog in the UK says Microsoft's called $69 billion deal to buy a video game company would stifle competition and hurt gamers. The all-cash deal is said to be the largest in the history of the tech industry, but it's facing opposition from Sony and regulators in the U.S. because it would give Microsoft control of popular game franchises like Call of Duty and World of Warcraft. A teenager has been arrested for shoplifting and stabbing a Circle K employee. Police in Simi Valley say they arrested the teenager yesterday after responding to a fight in progress. A store employee said 2 men walked into the Circle K Saturday, stole booze, then ran to another business nearby. Police say the employee faced the robbers but only found the stolen items. That's when they say the thieves returned and stabbed the employee. The teen is facing charges of assault with a deadly weapon and shoplifting. A collision between a Metrolink train in San Bernardino and a pickup truck has left 2 people in critical condition. The San Bernardino Police Department says the people drove their pickup truck across the railroad tracks at an unsafe speed yesterday. Police say over 30 people were aboard the train during the crash. Both the truck driver and the passenger were sent to the hospital. Officials say 1 Metrolink passenger was hurt. Nearly 5 million Fabuloso multi-purpose cleaners have been recalled because of a risk of bacterial growth. The company says a preservative was not added at the intended levels during the manufacturing process, which resulted in growth of a certain bacteria often found in soil and water. U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission says the people most at risk of ingesting the bacteria include those with weakened immune systems, external medical devices, or underlying lung conditions. And part of Disneyland will be turning blue. Disney CEO Bob Iger has announced during the company's first quarter earnings call there's an avatar experience coming to Disneyland, with details to follow. The Disney attraction will apparently be like the Flight of Passage in Disney World, which opened in 2017. Guests will board the back of a banshee and take an aerial ride around Pandora. Rumors are it could be built in Tomorrowland. The second Avatar movie has grossed over $2 billion since it was released in December. 3 more sequels are on the way, with Avatar 3 slated to hit theaters in 2024. Amy?
So we talked about SolarMax for years, right? Several years ago, we went solar at my house. We did all the research and figured out SolarMax was clearly the best.
Well, yeah, they build you a custom solar system, the most innovative technology, all under one roof, right there in Riverside. They provide you with the highest quality solar panels, inverters, battery systems in the industry, hands down.
Now, this is a great time to go solar because in the springtime, you're going to get more electrical production. It's bright, sunny days, cooler temperatures, maximum production.
Call SolarMax, get that 12-panel system for $0 down and $59.99 a month. The most powerful solar panels on the market.
Plus, you're going to want to lock in the NEM 2.0 rates by April 13th.
So call SolarMax, start saving money by spring on their 12-panel system for $0 down and $59.99 a month.
Pound 250 on your cell. Say the keyword SolarMax. That's pound 250 SolarMax, or go to solarmaxtech.com. Monthly payment available on Quick Credit CSLB number 97208.
SoCal weather from KFI. Mostly sunny today and highs in the mid to upper 70s. And for tomorrow, we're going to drop back into the mid 60s. Clouds are coming in Saturday through Monday. Still a better chance of showers for everybody comes on Tuesday. 61 right now in Huntington Beach, 68 in Fullerton. Let's get a look at your drive through Bel Air.
Listen up now. There's a section of Bel Air that you're trying to get to. I should say this is Beverly Glen that we're looking at. But trying to get up and over the hill from the San Fernando Valley into Bel Air. Now, about halfway down from it's just on the, well, it's just to the east side of Stonehenge Reservoir. And it looks like a construction or emergency tree trimming or emergency power line. There's something going on here. It's not your average crash. It's something a little more involved. Now, bottom line, Beverly Glen here, I think that's it. It's on the downhill side, about halfway down. So the bottom line here is don't get involved with taking Beverly Glen towards Bel Air from Mulholland. Now, we had a look at Benedict coming over. I hate to talk about Benedict because the road is so close to the homes. It's more neighborhoody than anything else. It is open. You can use it, but please do be careful. But all the other canyons, Coldwater, Laurel, they're all open. And the South 405, really, once you get over the top of the hill, I think you'll be okay. We'll pull off this, but again, don't use Beverly Glen, Sacramento Valley into Bel Air. It's shut down. Jeff KMI in the sky.
Live from Radio Row, it's Super Bowl week, and there's no better way to stay up to speed than with the Around the NFL podcast. Join me, Dan Hansis, and my bud, Mark Sessler, Greg Rosenthal for the latest football news with just a touch of mirth.
We've got the #1 football podcast in the world, and Rihanna is playing the Apple Music halftime show. It doesn't get much better than that, guys. Hang out with us live from Glendale, Arizona, all week long. Listen to Around the NFL on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcast.
Bill Handle here, and if you have a legal question and you want marginal legal advice, you can call me right now, because I'll help you off the air, 877-520-1150. That's 877-520-1150 right now.
Do you know what the three biggest problems are that people have most plumbers? Think about it for a minute. They probably like to risk yourself. They don't come when they say they will. They come to more after the job than what they quoted to a client. And they don't fix the problem right the first time. Last time is that kind of aggravation. At service center, performance is different. We'll be there. Right when they say we'll be there. We'll give you a firm price in writing before the start. All of our plumbing services are backed for a happy money promise. It's simple. If you're not happy, you don't pay. For us, it's all about respect. For you, our customers. Call Service Staffing right now for all of your plumbing needs. Our number is 833-777-7777 or find us online at servicestaffing.com.
I've been a small business person my entire adult life, and over the years, several HR issues I got nailed with. I could never afford an HR person, but there's an answer, Sandy.com. And with Sandy, you get an HR person starting with just $99 per month. And I thought this was too big to be true. This is real. Sandy helps you deal with your HR problems, like writing HR policies, sexual harassment training, hostile work environment, terminations, that was my problem, people complaining about other employees, all putting you and your business at risk. With Sandy, you get access to your own dedicated HR manager available by phone, email, real-time chat. Go to Sandy.com, type in KFI under the radio drop-down when you sign up. Sandy.com, that's KFI under the radio drop-down. I want the credit brief. Spelled Sam, B-E-E, that's Sam, B-E-E, that's Sandy.com. This is Jacob and Ronnie. If you've been in an accident, call 844-24-JACOB. Download the free iHeartRadio app for all your music radio and podcasts. Supporting live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. The big story today continues to be the earthquake in Turkey and Syria. 7.8 magnitude quake and 7.5 aftershock several hours later. The death toll is now up over 20,000. We just seen it continuously grow every day. It will probably, I thought 20,000 was kind of under the slow down, but it's 6,000 buildings collapsed. So we could see 50,000 more deaths before a business slowdown.
President Volodymyr Zelensky says that a Ukraine that is winning should become an EU member. He argues the bloc won't be full without his country in it. The comments during an address today to the European Parliament on a rare two-day trip outside Ukraine, which obviously has been battling a full-scale Russian invasion for nearly a year now.
Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman had a stroke during the campaign last year. Everybody remembers the fallout he did was running against Dr. Oz. He went to the hospital again last night, feeling lightheaded, I should say. Initial test at George Washington University Hospital did not show evidence of a new stroke, according to the communications director that was concerned. Senator stayed at the hospital. Doctors are doing more tests. They say he's in good spirits. He's been talking to his family and staff, and the communications director says they'll provide more information when they have it.
A couple competitions to tell you about. The whiskey versus beer competition shows that spirits are beating out beer for U.S. market share supremacy based on supplier revenue. It looks like more people are into spirits than beer.
Like, why do we have to?
Well, we're going to argue about chips right now.
Oh, we are.
Because our big bowl of chips bracket is live and it is crunch time. The final four is upon us, guys.
Say Final Four? I think that's another one we're not
I don't care.
Doritos versus Cheetos on one side, and then the
Hey, darling. Great pod is really the Cinderella scene.
it's like University of Maryland, Baltimore County or something like
Well,
that.
and I think I can explain it.
Go on.
Because the Doritos are not the cheese Doritos. The Cheetos are obviously flavored cheese. You've got your Ruffles, which I think are also cheddar, sour cream and cheddar. And then you've got your purist people that like the Cape Cod, which is just no flavor, it's straight chip.
They just play a fundamental game.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing flashy.
No.
Okay.
They just play zone.
When you go on
Don't play, man.
our social media account, at Gary and Shannon, you'll find the link there to vote on our big bowl of chips. And then down to our final four. Tomorrow we will vote to find which snack to raise to Charisma.
Republicans on the House Oversight Committee have sent a formal request to Hunter Biden for information and records related to his business dealings. This is what Republicans have been chomping at the bit to get at after the Democrats raked President Trump through the coals with the impeachment hearing. They've just been rubbing their hands together, getting ready to dig into the treasure trove that is Hunter Biden.
They held a hearing yesterday to investigate the role that Twitter played in suppressing the story from the New York Post on the Hunter Biden laptop, which turned out to be true. But I think a lot of people said, wait a minute, first of all, if you were a Republican, you looked at this and you said, this is true. There's no way. And there were some people who thought immediately, well, this looks a whole lot like what Russia would want to do if they were going to plant a story like that. Which is why, remember the whole thing about the dozens of current and former intelligence officials wrote the letter that said this has every mark of being Russian intelligence. They didn't say it was. They just said it sure smells.
More about Hunter Biden using his dad's political connections for personal gain. As recently as last year, or 2021, when he was selling his artwork made from the straws he used to do his blow with, for $50,000 a piece. And I don't mind somebody making money
because
but
they're
I don't really connection to that person.
Why was Hunter on that board for the Ukrainian natural gas company? Did he have any bona fides that landed him there? No. It was all about his father getting a get out and go back to making a living.
It was a sense of service. People would run for this because they wanted to serve their community.
this is one of those shits that comes out like
But then they realized how much money they could make doing so, right? With the special deals and the lining of the flag.
Really?
Look at
Oh,
that
yeah.
City Hall.
this is a slapper one, girls.
Of government.
Battle.
Everyone's got fraudulent business dealings. Why? Because of the seat they sit in, the power that they wield.
The unfortunate thing is you mentioned Burisma, but also the business dealings with China. Hunter Biden, when Joe was vice president, Hunter Biden was involved with an investment firm that was trying to raise money in China. And in 2019, former President Trump urged China to investigate the Bidens and then accused Hunter Biden of using a trip with his father to China for financial gain. Listen, it's swirl, smoke,
are a derelict, like he appears to be, and not have some bad things go on in your past. I mean, the guy reeks of dirt. What job does he have? What job has he ever had? Ever. That has done anything. Yes, he was a member of the board for Burisma. What the hell does that guy know about natural gas?
That's what I'm saying. There's no
production and
bona
delivery?
fide. His resume is like George Santos' resume. Phony and full of
Less volleyball, though. Less volleyball. And more children.
All right, coming up next, here's a quote you didn't see coming from Burt Bacharach. I was always breaking rules.
You're going to cry.
I'm not going to cry.
I bet you do.
Okay, I think you're going to cry, and I don't know where this is coming from.
Jerry and Shannon will continue in just a moment. Jennifer Jones-Lee is live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
Need hugs, and I bring you ice cream.
Hugs are always fun.
Okay.
Why do you have ice cream at 9:40 in the morning?
We have 6 pints of Little Debbie ice cream. We are trying the Little Debbie zebra cakes ice cream. I want zebra cakes ice cream. Okay, well, I have zebra cakes, I have honey buns, I have strawberry shortcake, I have Swiss rolls.
Not for long, you know.
That's reading the news.
What's going on?
The first UN convoy since the 7.8 earthquake hit Monday in Turkey and Syria now has a death toll of over 19,000. Toyota's profit for the most recent quarter is up 22%, far outpacing analyst estimates. And we just learned former Dodger Yu Darvish and the San Diego Padres are in agreement on a 6-year deal. It's $108 million that'll take him through the 2028 season. That's when he will be 42. SoCal weather from KFI, nice and sunny and warm today with highs from the mid to upper 70s. This report is brought to you by your Staples stores. From the Southern California Toyota Dealers Traffic Center, let's go places. Nick Valiocchini, our taste test is on.
How all of that goes, but taking out the drive as you're making your way through the Almonte area, west Sunside with Senate. Still got a crash that has middle lane block, and that'll be a busy one for you coming over from Wednesday, and then also still dealing with issues in mid-city LA on the east Sunside with 10 before Crenshaw Boulevard. Going to see a busy drive coming out of Santa Monica. Better news for you as you make your way through the Van Nuys area on the south Sunside with 405 your Victory. It's a crash split the right shoulder. Still a mess for your drive overall, though, coming from Sherman. Why don't we continue ahead through West LA toward about Santa Monica Boulevard? KFI, this guy helps get you there faster. I'm Nick Valiocchini. Staples Print and Marketing is committed to quality and printing perfect every time. Now at Staples, get $10 off your document printing and marketing materials order of $50 or more. Offer ends $225. See staples.com/store/printpick for details. Try Staples and see the difference. This report is sponsored by Yamaba Resort and Casino at San Manuel.
Together again. Special guest Ludacris, Yamaha Theater, just what you. Get tickets now at YamahaTheater.com.
You want to sell your home, call Seller's Advantage. Everyone has different reasons for selling. Some people want to downsize and move. Some have inherited a property they want to get rid of, or maybe it's time for a change. Whatever your reason for selling, it's falling through. Seller's Advantage has been making sellers happy for decades, and they have the reviews to prove it. Call them today. Get a no-obligation offer at 888-302-AS-IS. 888-302-AS-IS. 888-302-AS-IS and sellersadvantage.com.
Seller's Advantage will buy your home, make it easy so that you don't have to worry. Sales happy with Seller's Advantage.
DRE number 01961658. Bill Handle here, and if you have a legal question and you want marginal legal advice, you can call me right now because I'll help you off the air. 877-520-1150. That's 877-520-1150. Right. American Vision Windows, SoCal's choice for energy-efficient windows and doors. AmericanVisionWindows.com. For a better you in 2023, start with better water. Hey, it's Dean Sharp for Light Source, the whole house water system that will help you be a better you. If clean and healthy water is essential to look and feel your best, and it is, then unfiltered chlorinated water just doesn't cut it. Light Source removes the bad stuff, keeps the good, and means no more chlorine showers or baths. Feel great, look great, get Light Source water. Call 800-803-2696 for the radio podcast. He says he suffered an abdominal issue, but it's not really his abdomen. And the swelling of his beans to the size of like
times their normal size.
For no particular reason.
Live 7 to 10 p.m. on KFI and on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app.
You see this guy is in love with you. Yes, I'm in love.
Carrie Champ, KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. We were story in Orange County yesterday. A woman injured about 8 in the morning. She was on the 5th floor and then somehow confused the gas and brake and ended up on the 3rd floor, about 15 feet down. Has been shot to death in his car exactly 1 week after a councilwoman nearby was in the parking lot at Somerset Parking at PSE&G, the local energy company there. Cops quickly ID'd a former employee, a 58-year-old guy named Gary Curtis, found him dead in his car from a suspected self-inflicted gunshot wound about 3.5 hours after.
President Biden blaming his staff for those classified documents discovered at his personal office and home. He told PBS those packing offices did not do the kind of job that should have been done. He said the kinds of things they picked up are things from 1974, straight papers. But he said that he doesn't know for sure.
I have to check and see. Was he a member of a committee in 1974 that would have granted him?
Starting, what, 72? Stand by. I'm going to Google it.
Because, well, I don't know. That may simply be. What year does he think it is? Because if he believes that
74.
it's 78 in his mind right now, so he believes that was just a few years.
How did I get that right? Yeah, it was 19.
Junior senator. Yeah, in 74 is probably not as classified or as bearing the secrets that would give away our methods and things that we use today. This is for you.
I'll give him this one. This was good song.
This one.
Yeah. The whole.
Third background.
Do you know the way to San Jose?
At the age of
And
94.
Pussycat, this and that. Not for me.
What's new, Pussycat, is what you're trying to say. And it was a classic.
I love how serious you are about Burt Bacharach.
I just know. So I looked up like, well, gosh, I could probably name 5, 6 Burt Bacharach songs off the top of my head, but I know there was more, and I know I would be surprised at the amount of Burt Bacharach songs there are. So I typed in top 10 Burt Bacharach songs. There was a list that was the top 50 Burt Bacharach songs, and I knew every single one of them, simply because I didn't realize that he was that prolific when it came to songwriting. I'm not saying they're barn burners, and they're definitely not club bangers, clearly, because that's all that motivates you.
They don't hold up.
I didn't say they held up. But they're classic, and it's Burt Bacharach. Come on.
Make up the time. I say a little prayer for you. Well, I'm in my hand now. And I'm
Can you have
not
this moment,
just
like maybe when you're in the car on the way home, where you go through the catalog and you wax poetic about Burt Bacharach?
and I'm not running out here of you.
You're doing right now. Like, can that be something for you on the way home when you're alone in your car? Please tell me something.
You can't look away.
You know what? I
The
will.
whole time you said that, you didn't look away.
Because I'm worried about your mental stability.
Burt Bacharach had rugged good looks, as they like to say.
Did he?
Yeah. I mean, not when he was 94, but early in the 60s and 70s. He actually married Angie Dickinson back in 1965.
She had a lot of plastic surgery, right?
Not in 1965, she did. Why do you keep poo-pooing this whole story? I don't understand you. He enrolled in McGill University up in Canada. He studied music. He wrote his first song called The Night Plane to Heaven. He studied the Mann School of Music in New York. In 1950, he served 2 years in the Army. He played piano in the Army, served as a band leader and accompanist.
First, his professional music career began in earnest after his military years. He landed work as an arranger and a pianist for MOR pop singers like Steve Lawrence and Vic Damone. Starting in 1958, he became a band leader and a conductor for Marlene Dietrich, a role that lasted on and off for 6 years. My favorite part was the Geico commercial that he did not too long ago.
The coach is a real Geico customer, not a paid celebrity. So to help tell her story, we hired Mr. First back to back.
Last year, I was rear-ended by a Geico customer.
I was here in the rear.
First thought in my mind was about that bunny lizard. I was so impressed with how they handled my claim, I switched.
How long never get hit?
Oh boy.
Geico. Real service, real savings.
I have a hard time with people who trot people out past their prime or even post-prime.
Go on.
He was married 4 times.
A good person, a bad person.
No, it's notable. It's notable. It's notable.
He wrote songs for Fifth Dimension, for Jackie DeShannon.
Are you crying?
No. He wrote songs for the Carpenters.
Which Carpenter song did you write?
Pussy.
Really?
Oh, okay. Now, see, there's a little spark of interest. Hello, you wrote a song that I recognize.
No, I recognize all of the songs. I just didn't enjoy them at any point in my life.
Does not sound like it.
How long never get hit?
Carrie wrote to us. She says, I'm so Team Shannon on this one. Please play different music. I'm sorry the man passed, but killing everyone's soul break by break doesn't help. Exactly. Enough.
No respect.
Enough.
All right, Jamie, club bangers from the rest of the show. Is that all right with you?
He's lit. I got you. David, you had the mic.
All right. Some local stuff when we come back. We're going to get into Orange County. Oh, and also, you know who needs a red light district? San Francisco.
Isn't the whole thing a red light district?
That is correct.
Gary and Shannon will continue right after this.
The more you know, the easier it is to avoid the idiots around you.
KFI,
And KOST HD2,
Los Angeles, Orange County.
live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
Still searching. I'm Jennifer Jones Lee live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. Rescuers in Turkey and Syria have been pulling more survivors from the rubble of collapsed buildings, but they say hopes of finding more people alive are starting to fade. It's been 3 days since the region was hit by a magnitude 7.8 earthquake. ABC's Andrew Dimbert says the death toll so far has topped 19,000.
The losses are unimaginable. Many victims are refugees. 7 members of one extended family were found. They were killed as they slept. Youngest 6 weeks old. An overnight word that a family of 4 from New York City died in the quake while visiting family.
Turkey president is visiting some of the provinces affected by the quake. He's been criticized for the government's slow response to the disaster. An LA County Sheriff's deputy is suing the county over alleged retaliation for not joining a new deputy gang at the East LA station.
The suit alleges one member of the new gang assaulted and harassed the deputy for not joining the group. The lawsuit filed last month claims the county and several sheriff's department employees need to be held accountable for allowing deputy gang staff control over the East LA station. We have reached out to the sheriff's department for comment. Sheriff Luna campaigned on getting rid of deputy gangs and punishing deputies found to be involved in them. Blake Trolley, KFI News.
A man in Ventura County has been arrested in connection with a pair of decades-old murders. In 1981, 2 women were abducted, sexually assaulted, and murdered in separate attacks in Ventura County. The man's arrest Tuesday followed a joint investigation by the Sheriff's Office, the DA's Investigations Bureau, and the Oxnard Police Department. Police say both women were last seen at a nightclub off the 101. Charges against the man have not yet been filed. A state assemblyman from LA wants to change California's constitution so prison inmates are allowed to participate in elections. Assembly member Isaac Bryan introduced the amendment Monday that would restore felons' right to vote.
We don't strip away those rights in the penal system. Because democracy thrives when everybody can participate.
If the amendment gets two-thirds support in the state assembly and Senate, it will go to voters as a statewide measure. Vermont, Maine, and the District of Columbia allow everyone full voting rights. Pennsylvania Democratic Senator John Fetterman has been admitted to the hospital. ABC's Mark Remillard says Fetterman reported feeling lightheaded yesterday while at a retreat in Washington.
The statement from his office says he was taken by staff at George Washington University Hospital, where preliminary tests showed no signs of a stroke.
Fetterman had a stroke last May, which became a key issue of his campaign. His defeat of Dr. Mehmet Oz was critical to Democrats holding on to their majority in the Senate. And COVID has hurdled the oldest cheese shop in America.
The owner of Leva Dairy in New York City's Little Italy says it's closing its doors for the final time at the end of the month. Karen King says since opening in 1892, Leva survived 9/11, 2 world wars, and another pandemic near the beginning of the 20th century, but it couldn't make it through the COVID-19 pandemic and the current $24,000 a month rent. King says it'll be gone from its current location March 1st and March 1st, but she's committed to opening a new shop still in Little Italy that'll survive another 130 years. Michael Crozier, KFI News.
We'll get a look at your drive with EKFI in the sky through El Monte in just a moment.
Here's an upsetting issue. Here you go. You're paying your homeowner's insurance every month like clockwork, and then one day, you might even hear it. It might even make a sound. The pipe breaks in your wall, or worse, in the second floor, something like that. Toilet overflows, water damage everywhere. You open a claim with the homeowner's insurance company, find that your insurance adjuster is trying to pay you so little, you won't be able to repair the damage. But this is when you call Abner Gatt, because Abner Gatt is looking out for you. Abner Gatt is a public insurance adjuster who is on your side, and you can try to negotiate that is with the insurance company yourself, but you're going to find it's not simple. Abner Gatt will take over. He'll negotiate on your behalf to make sure that you get the best possible outcome. He and his team have been dealing with insurance companies for years. He knows their games. He's got the experience. He's got the industry know-how you need on your side. So they rated 5-star on Yelp and Google, Better Business Bureau, so you know people like him. No one messes around with Abner Gatt and his team. Give Abner a call, 818-917-5256. That's 818-917-5256. Or visit AbnerGatt.com, ABNERGAT, AbnerGatt.com. Or call him directly, 818-917-5256.
Checking your KFI financial report brought to you by SaddlebackEye.com. Right now, the Dow's down 56, S&P is down 6, NASDAQ is down 21, and the average price of a gallon of unleaded gas in California is $4.63.
For a limited time, get up to $1,800 off LASIK from SaddlebackEye.com.
SoCal weather from KFI. Sunny and warm today with highs in the mid to upper 70s, but then we cool it back into the 65 tomorrow. Clouds roll in this weekend with a chance of showers starting Saturday all the way through Monday. 68 right now in Irvine, 67 in San Clemente and in Santa Monica, 62 in Pasadena. Let's get a look at your drive with BKFI in the Sky. Better news on your drive through Van Nuys.
Early wreck that has been cleared from lanes was not too far from Victory Boulevard. Everything is off the right shoulder. 4 or 5 cars involved, though, so still a decent amount of activity happening for you there, and that'll be still going for you from before Sherman Way. Unrelated slowing does stick around ahead for you as you make way to West LA toward about sunset. Heading to El Monte on the westbound side of the 10, right around, well, not too far from, right around Peck Road. It's the westbound side of the 10, right blocking middle lanes, and that's going to be packed in tight rear drive as you're coming through Baldwin Park out of the west, coming up from as far back as Pacific. Plan ahead for Surface Street alternate. Valley Boulevard looks pretty decent. 60 westbound is an alternate. Still going for your drive coming out of the Diamond Bar area from before the 57. Unrelated slowing gets you in your head all the way towards downtown LA. 60 west drive coming out of the Diamond Bar area from before the 57. Unrelated slowing gets you in your head all the way towards downtown LA. 60 westbound under the 10 West Santa Monica Freeway. And the westbound side of the 210 is still going for you out of Glendora off of 57 to Pasadena. Got an update on this problem or anything else slowing you down? Time to picking yourself on keyword is KFI traffic. KFI and this guy else get there faster. I'm Nick Polio-Key. It can be dangerous during tax season because so much sensitive info was all together. Before we start the annual meeting of Sean's personal info, has anyone seen Social Security number? Not me. Nope. Oh no. He's been stolen. LifeLock by Norton makes it easy to help protect yourself. If you become a victim, we'll work to fix it. No one can monitor all transactions, but you can save up to 25% off your first year with promo code NEW at LifeLock.com. Identity theft protection starts here. Call Pacific Coast Termite for a free home inspection. Call 800
superlawyer.com. KFI.
More stimulating talk.
An iHeart radio station.
Gary and Shannon, KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeart Radio app on this Thursday, February 9th, 2023. Susan wrote to us, thank you, Gary. Burt Bacharach was so incredible. Shannon, I didn't realize how cold you are.
Well, welcome to my world. Whoever said they don't know who Burt Bacharach is,
Who?
whoever said they don't know who Burt Bacharach is, Burt Bacharach? He's the one who invented the game that we see in Vegas, isn't he, Burt Bacharach? Whoever said they don't know who Burt Bacharach is, hello, Austin Powers. I may not be a big Burt Bacharach fan. Clearly, you're not a big Burt Bacharach fan, but at least it's relevant to say, hey, Burt Bacharach, Austin Powers. It's pretty funny. Here's the Austin Powers scene. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Burt Bacharach. You're driving around Vegas, double-decker bus.
I got a text from one of our friends that says, why is Gary yelling about Burt Bacharach?
Bacharach?
Bacharach.
Walt Disney Chief Executive Bob Iger says that they will be shedding 7,000 jobs in an effort to save $5.5 billion in costs. This belt tightening talks about the difficulty that Disney and some other big giant media companies have been facing when it comes to realities of streaming. Also, kind of a weird, silly note, an unexploded artillery shell that may have been from the Civil War was found at the Battle of Gettysburg, battlefield that is, yesterday. National Military Park said the shell was found near Little Round Top. That was a site of some of the most fierce fighting during the three-day battle, I should say, between in July of 1863. The areas have been undergoing a rehab project that has been closed to the public for the last several months, but the shell was reportedly destroyed by a military ordnance disposal team.
Big local story we've been following is that Orange County public defender who was killed or died. The mystery continues there in Rosarito, Mexico. Corbin Carson is on the story for KFI News, joins us with new information that apparently police there tried to shake him down just hours before he turned up dead.
Kimberly Williams, this is the wife of Elliot Blair. As you said, both are public defenders in Orange County. The two were celebrating their first wedding anniversary at a Mexican resort. Williams says the death was not an accident. Mexican officials say it was a drunken fall from the fourth floor of their resort. The family says Blair was not drunk. The family says a detective first told Elliot Blair's wife he appeared to have been shot, and the family's asked for the body back for an independent autopsy, which has started, and they're just waiting for the results in the next few weeks. Now, Kimberly Williams told ABC News what happened that night. She says hours before his death, Kim says she and Elliot were driving back to the resort when a local police officer pulled them over. The officer explained the couple had rolled through a stop sign, and then she says the officers demanded cash.
Elliot had told him, we don't have the amount of cash that you want. And then the other officer came up and started talking to us, where are you staying? Elliot told him that we were staying at Las Rocas, that we were down here for vacation. Elliot kind of stood his ground, showed him his work badge, and said, look, we're stood his ground, showed him his work badge, and said, look, we're attorneys. We were both rattled, but at the same time, we both had this feeling of, thank God they didn't do anything more to us.
So what she went on to say is that they scrapped together $160 that they both had on them and paid them and told them where they were staying. And then she also talked about any claims that Elliot was drunk that night.
Accident, suicide.
Oh, sorry. This is the part this is her talking about what it's been like dealing with this so far. Let's listen to that first.
Accident, suicide, gunshot wound. It was a roller coaster. It's just, everything under the sun, except for what I think happened. Someone did this to him. I sleep on the couch because the last time I was in bed, I was woken up to find my husband dead.
And then again, just a heart-wrenching story. But again, she also talked about a little bit about the claims that he drunk and just fell off this balcony.
In my 9 years of being with him and knowing him, I can tell you I've never seen him sloppy. I've not seen him not be able to walk and care for himself.
And again, look, this is a very well-respected, at least in the law community, public defender down here in Orange County. And so a lot of answers still out there. And so far, we're next waiting to get the autopsy results.
Did she say anything about why she believes that somebody did
We
this
give pitch
to
on the
him
West
if
Coast.
they don't have
Love it.
a body? What did she observe when she saw him?
Well, are you talking about the next day or after? Yeah. So she said she went to sleep first, and when she woke up to officers banging on
Why
the
didn't you
hotel
fix
room
Twitch,
door. And
baby?
just, I mean, as shocking as you can imagine this to be on your first wedding anniversary, they were like, "Do you know this guy?" And they're pointing down to Elliot Blair's body down on the ground. And she said she was first told that a detective on that scene said that he had been shot, that something had happened and he had been shot. Then all that story changed later when they said he was drunk. There was no signs of that he had been shot.
Didn't she go down and see the body? I mean, I don't know. That seems weird to me.
Right. Well, the idea being that his fall hid any
Gunshot wound?
indication, right? That
Wow.
that wasn't able to be seen.
That's bizarre.
So, and then here's another thing that the family talked to a biomechanics expert, Dr. Rami Hashish, and that the family provided photos of Elliot's injuries, and the doctor says that the injuries tell a different story.
There's bruising marks on the body. There's indications of potential being dragged on the front of the body. There's fractures to the back of the skull. Nothing really points to the fact that it was necessarily an accident.
And the family's also hired a private investigator to look into this. So certainly we're soon going to be getting some more answers on this.
And do we have any idea what the timing would be for the local autopsy?
Yeah, so the body just came back not too long ago, and the independent autopsy is expected to be back maybe 4 or 5 weeks. So there's going to be a wait, but at least at some point we're going to know something. And remember, they wanted the body back as is and not embalmed. And Mexican officials embalmed the body anyway. And the idea being that that's going to hide some of the indications of the toxicology of whether or not he was as drunk as officials are saying.
We did a deep dive into that. Apparently, it's Mexican law that they have to embalm the body within 3 days or something like that because of the weather conditions. And then if the body is transported back to another country, then it also has to be embalmed. It's just a law they have.
Corbin, thank you. Appreciate it. When we come back a little bit more, there were a couple pieces of that interview that are worth pointing out in terms of Kimberly Williams and her interview with ABC News. We'll talk more about that when we come back. Gary and Shannon.
Jennifer Jones-Lee is in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
A top Biden administration official says Beijing is becoming more repressive at home and more aggressive abroad after the recent Chinese spy balloon that flew over the U.S. The LA City Council voted to convert the city's largest gas-fired power plant into green hydrogen, and Southwest Airlines says it's reimbursed the vast majority of passengers who were left affected by the Christmas-time meltdown, which left a lot of people stranded. Let's get a look at your drive with KFI in the sky, and this time we're looking through El Monte again.
It's going to be a busy one for you as you're making your way westbound along the 10 around Peck Road. It's a crash that has lanes blocked, middle lanes that is. And you're seeing a packed and tight drive on the westbound side of the 10, still coming away from Pacific out of the Baldwin Park area. 60 West is an alternate, especially heavy for you through Interstate and Hacienda Heights as you're coming away from Hacienda Boulevard heading toward the 605. That's also due to Caltrans crews that are working on 60 westbound after 605. And the westbound side of the 210, patching for your drive overall from Grand out of the Glendora area. KFI in the sky helps get there faster. I'm Nick Paulian.
Without opening them,
it's time for a second opinion from Edelman Financial Engines. Our opinions aren't based on intuition. They're grounded in institutional rigor. And all of our planners are fiduciaries who put your interest above all others. So if you need help managing the ups and downs of this market, we're ready to talk. At Edelman Financial Engines, you get personalized investment recommendations from a dedicated wealth planner who doesn't sell products to earn commissions. So stop shredding those financial statements. Let's take a look together. It's time to get a second opinion. Get your complimentary wealth checkup where you can discuss your financial goals with a wealth planner. Call Edelman Financial Engines at 888-899-4450. That's 888-899-4450. Or visit efewealthplanners.com.
This is Leland Smith here, founder of Service Champions Plumbing, Heating, and AC. If you're thinking about replacing your heating and cooling system, I have a serious question for you. Do you really even know what you need? There are so many companies out there offering different systems at all kinds of prices. How can you really know if what you're being sold is what you really need, or if the price is right? We believe an educated customer is the best kind of customer. So give us a call, and we'll help you understand all the options that make sense for your home. If you already have a quote from another company, call us for a second opinion, just to make sure you're getting what you need and at the right price. Quotes and second opinions are always free. Quotes and second opinions are always free. So call Service Champions at 833-777-7777. Find us online at servicechampions.com.
So, what you know about that, baby? Right?
Life is uncertain.
Oh.
It's okay to feel stressed, anxious, worried, or frustrated. It's normal. With CalHope's free and secure mental health resources, it's easy to get the help you and your loved ones need when you need it the most. Call our warm line at 833-317-4673 or live chat at calhope.org today.
I'm Michael Akiva, managing partner for Jacoby & Myers. It's not easy to be injured. You've just been through a traumatic experience, and now you're forced to face the prospect of a long recovery period. You need confidence in your medical team and legal team, and you need them to be able to guide you through the process with professionalism and care. That's where Jacoby & Myers comes in. We have a proven track record of helping people get back on their feet after suffering an injury, and we're proud that our clients choose us as their #1 firm year after year. Be certain. Jacoby & Myers.
Hey, all, it's Dean Sharp. Are you running out of hot water? Water Heaters Only has been specializing in the repair and replacement of water heaters since 1968. That's over 54 years as the original water heater specialist. So visit waterheatersonly.com for zero-interest financing. Terms and conditions apply. Request quick service or call to speak with a live operator 24 hours a day. Don't wait and don't overpay. Visit waterheatersonly.com today. That's waterheatersonly.com.
On the Exorcist Files podcast, a leading exorcist and demonologist shares stories of disturbing and vicious cases of possession. For the last 2 decades, Father Carlos Martins has encountered evil in nearly every way imaginable. What Hollywood portrayed in The Exorcist with levitations, vomiting, spitting at the priest, all of that has not been a movie for me. I have seen that firsthand. Listen to The Exorcist Files on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
It's Hump Day, everybody. Hump Day.
Former DJs have been saying that for decades.
Someday. Yes. That's on the endangered list.
John and Ken.
How about it's Monday?
Now, Mondays are good. I like working. Live 1 to 4 p.m. on KFI.
And on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app.
Gary and Shannon. KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
I've got Britney Spears news. People closest to her have planned an intervention, according to TMZ, because she's been struggling with mental health and substance abuse.
It's supposed to be a surprise, isn't it?
One source in regular contact with Britney says, "I'm afraid she's going to die." People around her have become alarmed by her erratic, volatile behavior. She's taking meds that hype her up. She's been flying off the handle with increased regularity. She's not taking the meds that stabilize her. Apparently, her manager rented a house in the LA area for several months. The plan was to take her, unsuspectingly so, to the house where her husband, her manager, an interventionist, and doctors would be present. It was apparently supposed to go down on Tuesday. The plan changed on Tuesday when she became somewhat aware of it. And so it all changed.
Yes, she read TMZ. Maybe not. The Biden administration says the Chinese balloon that was shot down by the U.S. was equipped to collect intelligence signals as part of this big
aerial spy program that targeted more than 40 countries. The administration cites imagery of the balloon from American spy planes that were up that high. Meanwhile, the U.S. House voted unanimously to condemn China's action. The administration statement was from a senior State Department official, offered the most detail to this up to this point about the balloon that was traversing the United States.
Chick-fil-A is jumping on the plant-based bandwagon. Oh, I should have saved this for. Oh, there is Deborah. Oh, there we go. Perfect. The chain based out of Atlanta said that it's testing its first plant-based entree, which is a breaded cauliflower sandwich. Oh, that sounds amazing. Now, Deborah.
It sounds like
Oh, it sounds delicious because I don't like. No, I don't like baked meat. It sounds like you're going to have to eat it directly on the toilet. I do have a question.
She said why?
I have cauliflower broccoli all the time, and I don't just sit on the toilet.
But breaded cauliflower in a sandwich? I have a question for you. With a place like Chick-fil-A where they have things that are non-plant oriented, aren't you worried that the meat stuff is going to touch your plant stuff? Like there's going to be some commingling, whether it comes from utensils or trays or cooking apparatus?
Or the trainee?
Back in the day, I was a little freaked out about that, but I've mellowed.
Okay.
I've mellowed with age.
And I would imagine they also, if they're serving a plant-based option, they know that people are concerned about that, so they try to go around. I don't know.
Yeah, I think they probably will cook it in a separate, you would imagine, a separate frying pan. But as long as they take all the other crap out, just because there was that other crap in there, I'm okay with that. But yes, if there's still meat, what would gross me out is if there's still meat remnants in there, and then they make that cauliflower, the breaded cauliflower,
Right.
and I find that meat in it.
Yeah.
That's not
Terrible. That
That
would be terrible.
is beyond.
Well, if you need some cash to pick up your plant-based fake chicken, we got $1,000 giveaway. Here's how you can win it. Now, your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our
Wonder
website.
why.
Pay. That's pay, P-A-Y.
That's
Enter
what's
it now
up.
at KFIAM640.com/cash. Powered by Sweet James Accident Attorneys. If you're hurt in an accident, winning is everything. Call the winning attorneys at Sweet James. 800-500-5200. That's 800-500-5200 or sweetjames.com. And you're going to put that keyword on the website, KFIAM640.com/cash. And then keep an eye on your email because that's how we notify the winners.
I love that line, Deborah. I eat cauliflower all the time. I'm not on the toilet.
I mean, I could say I'm not gassy sometimes. I mean, I could say I'm not gassy sometimes.
You don't need to know everything.
I know. I have verbal diarrhea.
You don't have the regular time. All right, so a follow-up, a little bit more about the story that we've been telling you once again. This is Orange County Public Defender Elliot Blair and his wife, Kimberly Williams, who were on vacation down in Mexico last month before his, as we, probably the best description, before his mysterious, the couple did not have an amount of money that was asked of them, apparently, in what amounted to a shakedown by local cops down there in Rosarito. According to a source, and according to the interview that Kimberly gave with ABC News, they were stopped by a couple of police officers about an hour and a half before he died because the cops said he rolled through a stop sign while driving back from a restaurant.
How many
This
views
is
did this get?
I don't think connected to the death. I think this happens on the regular. If you're in Mexico and you're driving a car and you're not local and they shake you down. They're a very corrupt police outfit.
They've been there a handful of times before.
So why is it
Before they
that
were
I can
married,
see
for example,
this
they were
one?
vacationing there. So they knew the area, they knew the hotel. Apparently that was their room. Like that was the room that they would go to before. So if the only thing that's different on this trip was that they got stopped, how could you not, especially if you're Kimberly Williams, as you're trying to figure out what the hell happened, how could you not think that this had something?
But why would that be grounds for they'll just stop the next American? I mean, why would that be grounds to kill the guy?
I don't know. Except
The public defenders, they're not going to be oozing money. It's not like there was probably reason to believe that they had a bunch of money. Mysterious. And why didn't, if you woke up, you're on vacation with your wife, people are pounding on the door, they say, is that she's dead, you're going to go to her. You're going to run to her. You're going to see what's wrong with her.
Well, this was, again, her
And I'm not
description of-
judging the wife.
No,
I'm
no.
just saying there's just so many questions.
Here's her description of
I'm not judging the wife.
No,
I'm
no.
just saying there's just so many questions.
Here's her description of the stop itself, and there's one thing in there that may have been the clue that would describe why they came to her.
Elliot told him that we were still off road trips, that we were down here for vacation.
This was the kid asking for money.
Elliot got kind of stood his ground,
I
showed him his work badge, and said, look, we're attorneys. We're not down here to mess around, but we're also not going to be taken advantage of.
Did you not have the cash that they wanted?
We didn't have the amount they wanted.
And again, that's from an interview that she did with ABC News and Matt Gutman. So
I feel it was a
showing the
confrontation.
it became more confrontational. And if part of the conversation was, hey, where are you staying? Now, to me,
You asked that though.
well, it becomes a belief that might be the piece that's hard to put together, which is how would these officers then, if they felt offended, they didn't like the confrontation, they wanted to teach this guy a lesson, how do you get to the resort?
Because everybody asks you where you're staying. You have to put it on your form when you're on the flight. You have to give them your address of where you're staying at the airport during customs. You have to basically surrender all your stuff to the hotel when it comes to passports and things in some places. So it's kind of a common thing. Every time you are face to face with an official in Mexico, you have to tell them where you're staying. That's just common.
So she did describe also, they went out to dinner, they came back after they were shaken down, they lost $160 to these cops. They ended up back at the hotel, the resort, they had a couple drinks, they went dancing, that sort of thing. And then went back to the room.
What's the next thing you remember?
2 people in my room waking me up, the security guard and the hotel manager in my room. And they're saying, excuse me, miss, excuse me, is your boyfriend down here? I ran out the front door, and they're pointing over the side of our front door area to the ground. That was my only comment.
Now, I don't know if she eventually tried to go downstairs and see him. That part of it was never really described, although there was already paramedics on the scene apparently. So there's just so many questions about this. The idea that the Mexican police, whether required or not, had suggested that she get a cremation, that was their suggestion. Now, why they would have any even thought of suggesting anything like that, outside of like what we were saying earlier, we looked up the law. It's a law for them to have embalmed the body, but it cuts off so many of the investigative avenues that the family would have to help try to prove what it is that happened.
Well, we'll stay on top of it, bring you all the latest developments. There is a vigil planned, is there not? In Orange County?
Oh, that's right. Yes. In fact, it's going to be Saturday. Saturday, there's a vigil at the Christ Cathedral Arboretum down in Garden Grove, 12:30 Saturday afternoon.
All right, catch the big game this Sunday featuring Philadelphia, Kansas City. Coverage beginning at 11. Kickoff at 3:30 on your home, the big game, AM 570. LA Sports, MGM Rewards. Unlock the best of Las Vegas. Visit MGMRewards.com for details.
Up next, why people moving from California are upsetting those people in Nevada. Maybe it's our California-osity, perhaps. Gary and Shannon will continue. Deborah Mark is live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
Family and friends are mourning the death of a woman killed in a high-speed crash in Lake Balboa. The woman was on her way to work early yesterday when the driver of a Corvette ran a red light at Victory in Balboa and hit her. Cops say the driver was going about 100 miles an hour. This woman told NBC4 the woman killed was her best friend for 30 years.
She's got 4 kids, you know?
I'll get her back.
Children.
The Corvette split in two, and half of it ended up in a shopping center. The driver died at the hospital. A passenger is in critical condition. News is brought to you by DirectBuyers.com. The family of a woman who died from overdosing on fentanyl while in a rehab facility is suing Riverside. The family's attorney, Dexter, says they are also suing the company contracted to run the rehab center. He says the staff lied on log theft in July. The spokesperson for the county says its provisional license has also been revoked. Homeless high school seniors in California may soon get more than a diploma.
Some may get $1,000. State Senator Dave Cortese has come up with a plan he hopes will help the 15,000 high school students in the state who are homeless. His new bill gives $1,000 monthly payments at the college or into the job market, but could be extended. Jennifer Jones-Lee, KFI News.
Israel's second humanitarian aid mission has landed in southern Turkey to help with search and rescue from that 7.8 magnitude earthquake that also hit northwest Syria. 250 IDF medical professionals staffed with advanced equipment are on the ground. They'll set up a field hospital to treat some of the estimated 60,000 injured in the quake. ABC's Jordana Miller says Israel's search and rescue teams have been in Turkey since Tuesday. They have pulled 10 survivors from the rubble. Monday's earthquake has killed more than 19,000 people so far. We're going to go to the 405 next.
Well, springtime's a great time to go solar. We'll tell you why here in just a couple seconds.
Didn't Burt Bacharach have a song about springtime?
Bart Bacharach had songs about agriculture. I went solar with SolarMax in the here in Riverside. You're going to get the highest quality solar panels, inverters, and battery systems in the entire industry.
Forever and ever. I'll say it again. Is that how it goes? Well, like you said, springtime is the best time to get solar because you get more electrical production in the spring. Look at that big ball of fire outside.
Now listen, right now is a great time to save big. Call SolarMax. Get a 12-panel system for $0 down and $59.99 a month, the most powerful solar panels on the market.
Plus, you want to lock in your NEM 2.0 benefits by April 13th.
Call SolarMax. Start saving money by $99 a month.
Dial pound 250 from your cell and say that keyword SolarMax, pound 250 SolarMax, or go to solarmaxtech.com.
Monthly payment available. Quick credit CSLB number 972
Southland weather from KFI, sunny and windy in some places. Highs mid-70s for around 80 for Metro LA and the San Gabriel and San Fernando Valleys. Upper 50s to mid-60s for the Antelope Valley. Upper 70s to low 80s inland Orange County. Low to upper 70s for the Inland Empire. Right now, it is 65 in Seal Beach and 72 in Ladero Ranch. We're going to go to the 405 in Lawndale.
That is before you. Everything's off on the right shoulder, but you are still seeing a slow-going drive as you're coming away from Long Beach area, coming away from Lakewood Boulevard. As you make your way beyond the 710 toward about Santa Fe, it does look like Caltrans crews are working in lanes for your drive heading into the midday, and it looks like that's also affecting your transition roads to and from the 710. KFI in the sky helps get you there faster. I'm Nick Hollywood.
I'm Ellen Kay with iHeart Hollywood Spotlight. The Gold Derby leaderboard continues to give everything everywhere all at once a healthy lead in the race for Best Picture. The Best Actor is still up for grabs, with experts teetering between Austin Butler and Brendan Fraser. Meanwhile, Variety's Clinton Davis says Colin Farrell was the home field advantage at the upcoming BAFTAs on February 19th.
Let's just call it quits. We won't call it quits. We'll call it the start.
And back to the Best Screenplay category. Historically, the films that win the Golden Globe also win the Oscar. So if history repeats itself, that honor would go to the Banshees of Inisherin. And lastly, a big congrats to Viola Davis, who achieved the coveted EGOT status after her recent Grammy win for the narration of her memoir, Finding Me. I just EGOT! Davis is the 18th EGOT winner in Hollywood history. I'm Ellen Kay. This is iHeart Hollywood Spotlight.
Southern California Edison wants you to know that downed wires are dangerous. Never approach or touch a dead wire or anything in contact with it. Stay away and call 911. Stay alert. Stay safe. Learn more at SCE.com/stay safe.
Want to know one of the most successful investment opportunities during both a recession and an economic boom? Hint, it's where you shop every day. Grocery store anchored commercial real estate. With over $1.5 billion in assets, First National Realty Partners offers investors access to institutional quality real estate, featuring national brand tenants such as Walmart, Kroger, Whole Foods, and many others. See what over 2,000 investors are earning on annual returns and quarterly cash distribution checks from professionally vetted commercial real estate investments. Speak with our investor relations team. Call 888-301-9010. That's 888-301-9010. Or visit fnrpradio.com. That's fnrpradio.com. Results are not guaranteed with risk of losing your principal. Securities are only available to verified accredited investors. Any representations as to stability, diversification, security, or resistance to inflation reflect our belief in such outcomes and may or may not be realized. Cash distributions are not guaranteed. Past performance is not an indicator of future results. Visit us at fnrpradio.com.
At Morgan & Morgan, the fee is free. You don't pay us anything unless we win your case.
Glad to be honest, staycations suck.
And if high gas prices have you sitting at home like a loser, maybe it's time you were a winner. KFI. Looking for the keyword, enter it at kfiam640.com/cash. No texting, just winning. Listen to win $1,000 every hour weekdays from 6 a.m. through 7 p.m. Claim your cash refill on KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk.
All you have to do is wait a second. Your head on mine. The clock is ticking. So play.
Gary and Shannon, KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the Radio app.
Janet wrote to us, I'm backing you, Gary. Was so sad to hear the news this morning, not because I had his songs on my active playlist, but because the songs are the soundtrack of my earlier life. That's true. It's nostalgia, isn't it?
Yes, and my connection to it is not that I was alive. I mean, I was alive during some of those songs, yes, but I worked. That was like one of the first jobs that I had in radio. So some of those songs, yes, but I worked at an oldies radio station. That was like one of the first jobs that I had in radio. So all of those songs bring back memories of that place.
Yeah.
Not that I was alive in '65. I wasn't, despite whatever math you think you're doing in your head. There is a sad milestone that we've reached, but unfortunately it's not going to be the only one. 20,000 deaths now attributed to the earthquakes in Turkey and Syria. The several aftershocks have made things even worse. The conditions of the cold.
Yeah, it's been 3 days, and the death toll is just excruciatingly large. But think about the people who didn't die, who lost their homes. They are huddled around campfires and what's left of the streets. They're begging for food and water. There's nowhere to go.
There was also an earthquake in Indonesia just several hours ago, the easternmost province of Papua earlier today. 4 people were killed when they were unable to escape a floating restaurant that collapsed into the sea. Again, that was in Indonesia. Russia is said to be massing 1,800 tanks, 700 airplanes, and 500,000 men for a new Ukrainian assault within 10 days. This is coming from Ukrainian military intelligence who say they believe because Russia really loves their anniversaries that they're going to try to shoot for a renewed offensive coming February 24th.
Well, California residents and companies have poured into Nevada ever since Tesla began building its battery pack factory at a business park outside Reno. That was back in 2014. But in the last 3 years, the pandemic has pushed another wave of Californians into northern Nevada. They can retire, work from home, the ski slopes, while keeping close ties to San Francisco or LA. There's been more development because of it. New luxury apartment complexes around shopping districts, fake trees that light up at night, high-end fitness centers, in and out.
Trees. It's funny.
Not a lot of trees in Nevada.
Well, the problem with this location is that you're going to run into some of the problems that you are trying to escape in California. The streets are becoming congested. The city services are strained. Locals are getting priced out of the homes that they thought they were going to be able to afford by Californians who can actually pay those higher rents, drop the larger down payments. Then you get the normal things that we see just about everywhere now. The homeless addiction, the line for food assistance.
So they've taken California with them.
Well, and part of it is just that it's a matter of you put that many people into a space like that without the services, you're going to run into some of these issues. I think the positive thing is if you're a business owner and you're trying to expand, you could go into a place like Northern Nevada and realize that the red tape that exists in California, a lot of times just for the purpose of adding more red tapes and stuff, is not there. You close your deals a lot quicker. You don't have to go through the same kinds of inspections or environmental reviews or months and years of permits, applications, and things like that. In Northern Nevada, they welcome you with open arms when you're going to build something there. Tesla, as an example, Tesla says it employs more than 10,000 people at
at their $6.2 billion factory. You mentioned that it was 2014 that they started building that. On January 24th, they announced they're building a second plant to produce the semi-trucks.
When it comes to subsidies and tax breaks, all of the problems you face, that it's the antithesis of California. I mean, they're paying you to do business there as opposed to penalizing you for doing business here.
And it's not as if, well, to use the Tesla example, is probably the biggest employer in that area outside of government. Elon Musk took to the public forum, whether it was Twitter or any other body that would sit him down for an interview, and would complain about how California strangles business by requiring those regulatory, environmental considerations, etc. And Nevada's like, we don't care. You come and build your factory. We got 10,000 people here. We need the jobs. We need the income from that facility. And he's like, well, of course I would build it in Nevada. Despite the fact that he loves California, he knows that Nevada's the place.
I mean, I've been hearing about Nevada as being a place where people want to retire for years. It feels like 20 years that people have been realizing that it's much cheaper to live there, and it's close, similar climate.
The thing is, I would ago you could walk over to Henderson, Nevada, drive through, and get for the same price that you paid for your house here, you could get a small mansion with a couple of acres.
And
money left over to landscape those couple of acres with, drought-friendly desert plants, of course, is your response.
San Francisco is looking at creating a red light district. Last time I remember being in San Francisco, it was a red light district. I remember being at a restaurant in North Beach, and there were it was a nice restaurant, and plenty of hookers there near the City Lights bookstore.
There is a specific couple of blocks that they literally want to block off.
What could possibly go wrong?
Gary and Shannon will continue in just a moment. Deborah Mark is live in the KF5 24-hour newsroom.
LA City Councilwoman Nithya Raman wants city maintenance and transportation operations in Griffith Park to transition to zero emissions. She is looking to phase out, electrify, or decarbonize any equipment or vehicles that run on gas or diesel. Officials with Southwest Airlines say they have reimbursed the majority of passengers who were affected by that Christmas time meltdown, which left many people stranded. The chief operating officer apologized for canceling 16,000 flights around the holidays. Valentine's Day is just about 5 days away, and the LA County Registrar Reporter County Clerk's Office is gearing up for a busy day of lovers hoping to tie the knots on February 14th. Same-day marriage licensing and civil wedding ceremonies will be offered only at the county clerk's headquarters in Norwalk. Southland weather from KFI, sunny and windy in some areas, highs upper 50s to low 80s. This report brought to you by iaccidentlawyer.com. From the Southern California Toyota Center, let's go places. We're going to the 10 in El Monte.
7 minutes for the drivers originally westbound right around Tech Road. It's an early wreck that's been cleared from lanes, but you are still seeing a busy drive heading westbound. And as you're approaching the S605, if you're still going for about Francis Mosquito, unrelated filling will continue ahead for you and stretches ahead through El Hambre as you make way toward the 710. The 210 westbound still patching for your drive overall out of Glendora off 57, continuing to pass the Dean toward the 134. 60 westbound also still pretty busy for you and stretches from before the 57 out of Diamond Bar to continue toward East LA and the 710. KFI and the Skyhouse gets their bouncer. I'm Nick Poliofini. Hey, Crash, need cash? If you've been injured in a car or motorcycle accident, call the Skyhouse today. One ring could be cut-ching.
Accidentlawyer.com is the way to go. Please go, 920-0810.
Attorney Bell Stevenson results there.
This report is sponsored by Unbound.org. Right now, there are young people across choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at Unbound.org.
Millions of people are looking for work, and almost 70% of Americans are looking for extra work. So why is it so hard to find the right candidate? I've had a tough time for 30 years. It's simple. We're using the wrong platform. Here's an answer, jobget.com. JobGet is the new and unique way to post the job you're looking to fill and finding that perfect candidate and quickly. With other hiring sites, your job posting gets flooded with thousands of resumes who just don't cut it. With JobGet, your top candidates are already endorsed for their skills. Your candidates get immediate notifications in their JobGet app, letting them know you're ready to talk. And most jobs receive their first applicant applicant within the first 6 minutes. Post your first job for free, chat with qualified candidates within minutes when you go to jobget.com/handle. That's jobget.com/handle. This really works. Visit jobget.com/handle.
The hit true crime podcast Paper Ghosts is back with a brand new case. Season 3 digs deep into the 1992 cold case murder of Tammy Jozowicki, a New Jersey college student, and uncovers a murky police investigation, a pool of new suspects, and a community still desperate for answers 30 years later.
Tammy's supposed to be on campus, and she's not here, and people are starting to get worried.
Listen to Paper Ghosts on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Yeah, some estimate that the S&P went down 20% last year, and that this year's outlook is even bleaker. In fact, a majority of economists are forecasting a recession in 2023. So that's why you hear time and time again how important it is to diversify your portfolio, or else you risk taking massive losses. Gold and precious metals can offer a hedge against inflation and stock market volatility, and Legacy Precious Metals is the company we trust. With Legacy Precious Metals, you can protect your retirement account by rolling into a gold-backed IRA or have metals shipped directly to your door. Visit Legacy online and get your free investor's guide at buylegacygold.com. Or give Legacy Precious Metals a call. Here's the number, 866-691-2173. That's 866-691-2173. Don't leave your retirement to chance. Call Legacy Precious Metals today and download your free investor's guide at buylegacygold.
On the free iHeartRadio app, you never pay to hear what you love, and you never wait to hear what you want. Save your money, save your time, and listen anywhere. Download the free iHeartRadio app for all your music, radio, and podcasts.
More stimulating talk.
An iHeartRadio station. On the iHeartRadio app, some stories we are keeping an eye on. The FBI giving an update on the China spy. Much of the evidence remains underwater, according to the FBI. This was the Chinese spy balloon shot down last weekend. They also revealed an extremely limited amount of the balloon was brought to its evidence collection lab. There's also not enough evidence to reach a conclusion on what the intent of China entails.
You mean spying? A congresswoman was attacked in the elevator of her apartment building this morning. The chief of staff for Congresswoman Angie Craig, a Democrat out of Minnesota, said the incident took place this morning in her apartment building in D.C. about 7:15 in the morning D.C. time. She was assaulted in the elevator. She defended herself from the attacker, suffered some bruising, but is otherwise physically okay. She was able to call 911, but the suspect fled the scene. The statement said that there is no evidence that the incident was politically motivated. A D.C. Metro Police came and helped her out. So hopefully that we don't find out, people don't try to assign some politics to it when it doesn't exist.
The family of cinematographer Helena Hutchins
Helped her out. So hopefully that we don't find out, people don't try to assign some politics to it when it doesn't exist.
The family of cinematographer Helena Hutchins is filing another lawsuit against Alec Baldwin, where she was shot by Baldwin on the set of Rust. Her family has already settled a civil suit with him. Gloria Allred representing the family, because of course she is. She's expected to speak with reporters at her large mahogany table as she sits atop her phone book.
Just one, or do you think she's multiple by this point?
Which color pink suit does she wear today?
Which color? Pink?
Yes.
Red.
Is it a hot pink? Is it a muted pink? Is it a magenta?
That little button there and the little magnetic, I think it's in that,
I think that's a bit that.
like a shiny pink.
Is it pink? Is it a magenta?
That little button there and the little magnetic, I think it's in that,
I think that's a bit that.
like a shiny pink,
It's a good
semi-metallic.
like a Chanel type.
Chanel?
Chanel.
Chanel the designer?
Yes.
Okay. Is the Chanel a type of fabric?
You would know better than I.
Yes, it is.
Nailed it.
Well, you.
Nailed it. Okay, so there's been a research on Cap Street up in San Francisco.
Speaking of Chanel.
Speaking of Chanel and large lucite heels.
there is a problem. So, one of the things they want to do is block off the street. I mean, literally put barriers across the street at nighttime so that you can't cruise 2 or 3 blocks of caps.
Oh, chenille's like a throw blanket type material, not hooker material.
So,
That didn't work.
okay. Here is a story from KTVU, a TV station up in Texas.
Well, they was telling me once it gets dark, this street is
Wait.
no longer there.
Now, go for it. Yes.
We don't play KTVU anymore.
Yes,
Not
we do.
after the Asiana disaster.
I listen, they don't do any names.
Okay, are you sure?
I'm positive.
Right.
They don't do any names, so
You're not gonna hear We Too Low? We should not.
Can I just tell you real quick
Yeah.
that news anchor was the one that hired me at a radio station in the Bay Area?
wait, the one who said we too long?
Yeah.
Stop it.
Yes.
Didn't
I was
know
her
we had that
fill-in.
connection.
I was her fill-in, and then I ended up getting her job.
Did you like her?
She was very nice.
Oh,
she
that's
was.
unfortunate.
No, she was. She was very nice, and she was very smart. And she was one of these people. She was a radio woman, and then she got that KTVU job. She didn't have any TV
I'm
experience.
surprised she's a radio person and made that mistake.
I know.
That's shocking.
She was on a big station in San Francisco.
Because, and I say that it's not to put down television people like Steve Gregory does, but but it's just
Not
to
with the
say
same Israel.
it's just to say that a lot of people on TV are just used to reading the teleprompter,
Right.
and so they just read whatever is on there just because that's what they know. If you come from radio, there's no teleprompter. You're much more particular, I think, when it comes to reading in the moment. Much,
Yeah, I think you're making sense.
yeah.
Anyway, this is Cap Street. This is the story. Prostitution, Cap Street, San Francisco.
Well, they was telling me once it gets dark, this street is no longer theirs. They say they witness all sorts of illegal activity and aren't sure the barriers address the root of the problem. One girl over there. There's a huge line of traffic. Neighbors see out there almost a nightly basis. But they are sex workers and their pimps, while a line full of Johns in their vehicles block the street. There's rampant prostitution on Cap Street. Residents we talked to did not want their faces on camera. They told us the situation has become dangerous.
Violent self-defense, that they not only intimidate the women and men handle them correctly, they also sometimes intimidate the neighbors.
Noise it brings at night. I mean, I wake up multiple times a week at night. My kids have missed school. I've missed work. It's the Johns driving by in their car, racing back and forth.
Now it goes on. She interviews a couple of different people that would be directly involved with this. One of them is Santiago Lerma, who is supervisor's legislative aide. And what his response to SFPD trying to put up these barriers was, we've tried many laws, federal laws, state laws. It just keeps chasing the problem around. So what are we hoping? What I'm trying to do is advocate for our state lawmakers to really address this issue and to legalize it. Legalize the prostitution to do away with the problems of crime there on Cap Street.
Making a crime legal does not eliminate the crime. It eliminates the definition of it being a crime.
Well, it also only impacts perhaps the pimps. No, not even them. It would be the hookers themselves and the Johns for solicitation, right? So you do away with the hierarchy that is prostitution on the streets of San Francisco. These women, many of them trafficked into the positions that they're in right now. I can't imagine that everybody grows and thinks to themselves,
I want to be a hooker.
not am I going to be a hooker, I'm going to be a very low-end hooker on a street in San Francisco. How is that possible that you would imagine that?
Why are you British?
I don't know where they come from. I don't want to make this, assumptions about where they were raised or anything like that. But these women grow up. These women are in these positions for all reasons. Awful.
Yeah.
And simply legalizing it doesn't do anything to help them.
No, in fact, it opens the door for other women to be victimized and tossed into this life.
What I love about this story, one of the stories that we have printed out here from
Puts your rubber stamp on it.
from Channel 4 up in San Francisco is they went specifically to Supervisor Scott Wiener. It says supervisor, but he's not a supervisor, he's a state senator, to ask him about decriminalizing prostitution in California. There have been a series of laws that Scott Wiener has implemented in an attempt to protect LGBTQA plus 2S T, very to the T, and do things like legalize prostitution, carving out protections for sex workers, real that the unintended consequences are these outdoor markets, these outdoor flash markets, basically allowed to propagate throughout the state of California.
The San Francisco supervisor, Hillary Ronan, is backing the sanctioned red light district. And she says, what we want to do is push our state legislator to legalize trade in California. This would allow localities to regulate the trade and keep people safe.
Mm-hmm.
How do you keep people in prostitution safe? How do you do that? Like you said, you think these women think to themselves, one day I'm going to be a prostitute? I mean, she should be forced to spend some time. I did a story years ago. Yeah, I did a story years ago where it was an outfit, a nonprofit that was rescuing these girls.
I remember that story.
And I drove to the middle of nowhere, and that's as far as detailed as I'll get, because they have to keep these girls in the middle of nowhere, like rip up the directions after you get to your kind of place to rescue them and get them out of that life, because these pimps are so controlling. They will find you. They're violent people. They get them young so that they screw with their minds really early, and it lasts for decades. When your mind is screwed with like that at that young age, and you are made to feel like you're dependent on someone and that they control you and control everything in your life, that lasts forever.
I don't know if I say this right as a dude, but I feel like it's a pretty woman, Julia Roberts fairy tale to say that legalizing sex work like this prevents problems, because all it does is it gives police a reason to look the other way. It gives a reason to deal with other types of crimes, etc. But it doesn't improve the lives of the women that you're, and whoever.
No.
Men too. You're not improving
cannabis. This is not let's control it, let's legalize it so we can have some kind of control over the distribution, what have you, or make money off of it. That's the other thing.
This Sunday featuring the Philadelphia and the Kansas City coverage beginning at 11, not during the game.
Oh yeah.
No. Beginning at 11, kickoff is at 3:30 on the home of the big game, AM 570 LA Sports. Brought to you by the Ford F-150 with combined toughness and intelligent test drive one.
The ones that go to the Super Bowl.
Oh, the ones who can travel, you mean?
All right.
Swamp Watch.
Yeah, let's clean it up a little bit with Washington hookers.
Gary and Shannon will continue right after this.
You can listen to KFI everywhere, like you haven't noticed.
KFI,
KOST HD2,
Los Angeles, Orange County.
live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
Time is running out. I'm Deborah Mark, live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. The number of people killed in the magnitude 7.8 earthquake that hit Turkey and Syria has grown to more than 20,000. Rescuers searching through the rubble of collapsed buildings have been finding survivors, but ABC's Andrew Dimbert says time is running out.
The first critical 72 hours have now passed. The White Helmet rescue team sending a camera into the rubble, finding a young man pinned down. Carefully chipping away at the twisted metal and debris, they were able to free him and a woman.
He says a family of 4 from New York City died in the quake while visiting family in Syria. The Turkish Cultural Center in Irvine is asking people to drop off supplies for people in Turkey.
The Anatolia Cultural Center is gathering coats, blankets, and other supplies to displace people warm as cold temperatures loom in the region where the earthquake happened. The center's Attila Kahanachi says the quake is sending devastating news to families in Southern California with ties to Turkey. One person lost
is not finding track of his grandmother.
The center is also helping raise money for a nonprofit. The deadline to drop off supplies is Monday. Blake Trolley, KFI News.
The wife of a
And then,
public
but when I was
defender
at
from
there,
Orange
I'll
County
mention
says
the
her
outside.
husband did not
Maybe
accidentally
change more.
die while on vacation in Mexico.
Mexican officials claim Elliot Blair was drunk and accidentally fell. But Blair's wife, Kimberly Williams, tells ABC News hours before Blair's death last month, officers stopped the couple claiming they ran a stop sign.
Elliot kind of stood his ground, showed him his work badge, and said, "Look, we're attorneys."
She says then the officers demanded money.
Elliot had told him, "We don't have the amount of cash that you want." And the other officer came up and started talking to us. Where are you staying?
The family expects results from an independent officer week. In Orange County, Corbin Carson, KFI News.
A school vice principal testified in LA at the Anthony Avalos murder trial. The 10-year-old boy's mom and her live-in boyfriend are accused of killing him in 2018. The school official told the court yesterday the boy told her in 2015 he was being abused, and she reported it. Republicans in the House have made their first official request for documents from President Biden's son and brother regarding their foreign business dealings. Kentucky Republican Representative James Comer said Biden asked for documents related to foreign business pursuits with individuals who were connected to the Chinese Communist Party. Comer says that President Biden is compromised by deals with foreign adversaries and they are impacting his decision making. This is a threat to national security. President Biden is going to Florida to talk to retirees. ABC's Andy Fields says Biden plans to tell them Republicans want to cut Medicare and Social Security.
Florida Senator Rick Scott made that proposal. One reason President Biden now bringing that fight to the Sunshine State, saying Republicans want to undermine those retirement plans seniors depend on.
Analysts say Biden wants to use Social Security and Medicare to drive a wedge between Republican lawmakers and their base of older voters. Leading Republican lawmakers insist cuts to Social Security and Medicare are off the table. And award-winning composer Burt Bacharach has died. He created songs for Aretha Franklin, Dusty Springfield, Tom Jones, and many others. His favorite was Dionne Warwick, who sang Lost on By, You Know the Way to San Jose, and I Say a Little Prayer. The moment I wake up, his publicist says Bacharach died yesterday in LA of natural causes. He was 91. He was 94 actually. We're going to go to the 91 next. If you've got water damage, you can say a little prayer, can't you? But pray in one hand. It's not going to do anything. A broken pipe, toilet overflow, pray all day. It's still going to be a river in your home. So you open up a claim with your homeowner's insurance company. You find out your insurance adjuster is trying to pay you so little you will not be able to repair the damage. This is the time to call Abner Gatt. Abner Gatt really makes the insurance company feel silly, because that's how good of a fighter he is. He is looking out for you. He's a public insurance adjuster. He's on your side. Don't try to negotiate with those a-holes yourself. Abner Gatt fights for you to make sure you get the best possible outcome, not them. He and his team have been dealing with insurance companies for many years. This is all they do. They've got the experience the industry you need on your side. They're also rated 5 stars on Yelp, Google, and Better Business Bureau. No one messes around with Abner Gatt and his team. Give Abner a call, 818-917-5256, 818-917-5256, or visit AbnerGatt.com. That's ABNERGAT, AbnerGatt.com, or call him directly, 818-917-5256. The KFI Financial Report is sponsored by SaddlebackEye.com. The Dow is down 111, S&P 500 down 15, NASDAQ down 41. And the average price per gallon of regular gas in California is now $4.63.
For a limited time, get up to $1,800 off LASIK from SaddlebackEye.com.
Southland weather from KFI sunny and windy in some places. Highs mid-70s to around 80 for Metro LA and the San Gabriel and San Fernando Valleys. Upper 50s to mid-60s in the Antelope Valley. Upper 70s to low 80s inland Orange County. Low to upper 70s for the Inland Empire. Right now, 75 in Orange, it's 71 in Park, 72 in Agora Hills, and 75 in Sherman Oaks. From the Southern California Toyota Dealers Traffic Center, let's go places. We're going to crash on the 91 in Bellflower. Something 91 westbound right at Lakewood is low over accident. Now the carpool and the 2 left lanes are blocked, and you're stepped up from Carmelita. In down, you want to find eastbound at the 605, got to wreck in the second lane from your left. It's going to be slow from the 710. Diamond Bar, 16 for the grand. That crash involving a big rig over on the right shoulder. The 57 north going to be heavy from Diamond Bar Boulevard. 30 slow 13 on the 71 south due to a
sleeper operation. One lane is closed and you've got delays from Pine Avenue down to the 91. In Anaheim Hills, 91 eastbound, just past the 241. Then reported the stalled out vehicle in the second lane from your left. And in Ontario, 10 westbound before 4th Street, that crash has only the left lane open, and it is stopped coming away from Haven Avenue. KFI in the sky helps get you there faster. I'm Jenny Harmon. Hi, Ellen K with iHeart Hollywood Spotlight. The Golden Derby leaderboard continues to give Everything Everywhere All at Once a healthy lead in the race for Best Picture. But Best Actor is still up for grabs, with experts teetering between Austin Butler and Brendan Fraser. Meanwhile, Variety's Clayton Davis says Colin Farrell is the home field advantage at the upcoming BAFTAs on February 19th.
Let's just call it quits. We won't call it quits. We'll call it the start.
In fact, back to the Best Screenplay category, historically the films have won the Golden Globe and won the Oscar. So if history repeats itself, that honor would go to the Banshees of Inisherin. And lastly, a big congrats to Viola Davis, who achieved the coveted EGOT status after her recent Grammy win for the narration of her memoir, Finding Me. I just EGOT! Davis is the 18th EGOT winner in Hollywood history. I'm Ellen Kay. This is iHeart Hollywood Spotlight.
Hey, listener. Welcome to Limu's Karaoke Lounge, where Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need, and the music never stops. Hit it. There's Limu with a full-time job. His partner's does, but Limu's the heartthrob. Grubs and worms, that's what Limu eats. Gonna fuel up to save you money and get on the streets. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
As a Walgreens pharmacist, I talk with people all the time about little tips and tricks for filling your Medicare prescriptions, like taking advantage of Walgreens 90-day refills to save them a trip, or using refill by scan, which is super easy and right on your phone. And for anybody worried about prescription costs, I say, hey, we got you with low-cost copays on many medications.
Let's talk about making things easier. Walgreens is here. Go your way and save at walgreens.com/Medicare. A pharmacist for restrictions and exclusions.
Absolutely. Call Jacob and Ron. Call Jacob. KFI.
More stimulating talk.
And iHeart radio station.
Gary and Shannon, KFI AM 640, live everywhere on the iHeart Radio app.
Are hard. Like we have to. Computers are hard. Put back rack.
I don't think you appreciate you trying that. Then I think that he didn't have to sign up and agree to do a Geico thing. But he was in the sunset of his life.
You're from music. You're from music.
You start playing clips from Joe Biden now, too?
Back in 1974, when he took the conference, I documented it as a mistake.
Well, they didn't pass them up correctly. 11 o'clock is when we got to Washington.
Wow, it's horrible.
The government traffic works.
It's like a reality TV show.
What was the bad news?
Always
Hey, Joe.
They're wilding out here. He's wilding.
In so many ways, still a swamp. That's a bunch of malarkey. Ways to drain the swamp.
No,
Yeah, it's
You know the thing.
Well, we start with Spygate. The Biden administration said the China balloon shot down by us was equipped to collect intelligence signals as part of a huge military-linked aerial spy program that's targeted more than 40 countries.
I knew it.
It was a statement today. The administration cited imagery of the balloon from American U-2 spy planes. The U.S. House voted unanimously to condemn China's actions, like that means anything. And the statement from the senior State Department official offered the most details to date linking China's People's Liberation Army to that balloon that traversed the United States. The public details
are meant to refute China's persistent denials of wrongdoing, including its claim that it was the U.S.
Before I put on my
makeup,
makeup, I say a little prayer for you.
You mentioned the YouTube.
And when I'm dressed to the wind, for you. And I say in my heart and I will love you forever.
Good close-up pictures of whatever it is you're saying when you use the stack of that thing. Did I say that in the wrong way? I meant the balloon.
11-11, baby.
You painted a great visual for all of us.
So that's how we got the information, like you were saying. Joe Biden actually sat down for a very lengthy interview with a blanket across his thighs, hot water, a candy dish full of heart candy.
It really does sound like two people in the home having a chat.
Judy Woodruff and TVR sat down with the president, and they discussed, among other things, the balloon.
The relations now between the U.S. and China is taking a big hit.
I know.
You got the insurance.
The idea of shooting down like that gathering information over America and slipping that tip information works. Look, I made it real clear to Xi Jinping that we're going to compete fully with China, but we're not going to the conflict. And that's been the case so far.
Where did the excitement go?
The amphetamines only last so long, Gary. If you have taken an amphetamine in your life, you know it works for a number of hours, and then you crash. You crash hard. And when you're 80 and you're hopped up on freaking Tylenol, Advil cold and sinus, and you're going 110 miles an hour, and then it wears off, it is a crash, man. And that's
Judy Woodruff asking if Joe Biden believes that he's too old to run for president. When we come back, hopefully,
which is rich coming from her. She's not
running for president.
This is just as girl's ass. She is ass naked. Why can't I do this?
I think that there's a lot of young 80-year-olds. He's not one of them.
You're a situational ageist, which is an okay thing.
And I don't think that an 80-year-old should be in charge of the world.
That means you're an ageist. But in that situation.
In that situation.
And I think there's nothing wrong with that.
None of us are going to be as sharp at it. A lot of us, the majority of us, will not be as sharp at 80 as we were at 50. You're welcome.
Thanks, and we'll continue in just a moment. Deborah Marcus live in the KFI 24-hour news show.
A man from South LA thinks he's charged with killing his girlfriend, who is the mother of his 2 kids. The woman was killed at their apartment Saturday. Relatives of the woman say she was beaten and stabbed in front of 3 of her 4 kids. The number of people in the hospital with COVID-19 has jumped back over 700. 18 more deaths have also been reported. The 7-day average daily rate of people in the county testing positive for the virus was 5.9%.
This is a guy's dick.
And a new bill has been introduced in California that would allow for cannabis to be catered at private events. We're going to go to the 105 next.
You're tired of living with joint pain, chronic joint pain. It might be in your knees or your shoulder. Sometimes it's in your hips, probably even your back.
You don't have to go through another year in pain. Next generation pain management has arrived right here in Southern California. It is QC Kinetics.
QC Kinetics is the nation's leader when it comes to cutting-edge regenerative medicine, and this regenerative medicine is amazing.
It's an all-natural process that uses highly concentrated healing properties from your own body. Put them directly into your achy joints to restore and repair that damaged tissue.
Now, this is lasting pain relief. No drugs, no surgery, and no downtime.
Pro athletes have been doing it for years. Now you can too.
QC Kinetics has over 100 clinics in the United States, and now they have arrived in Southern California with these regenerative solutions that can get you moving again pain-free.
If you're sick of living with pain from maybe arthritis or an injury, call the local medical professional at QC Kinetics for a free consultation.
They have 3 locations. Check them out. Glendale, Mission
These 3 are the top 20 hottest chicks in California today, and they are moms. They're hot as fuck. Really, yeah.
213-997. We're gonna go to a crash on the 105 in Norwalk. Still at 105 down right before you get to 605. That crash involving a pickup and a big rig. The right lane is blocked and it stops coming away from Lakewood Boulevard. In Bellflower, a little bit of good news. 91 westbound of Lakewood Boulevard had a crash. The carpool lane to left lanes are blocked. They just now got everything over the right shoulder. But it's still looking really heavy from Artesia Boulevard. South 817 moves there, Firestone Boulevard. Heads up some debris in the carpool lane. And in Ontario, tough crash here. 10 westbound before you get to 4th Street. Only the left lane is open. It is stacked up from Haven Avenue. KFI in the sky helps get you there faster. I'm Jenny Harman.
Are you a business owner, CEO, or responsible for marketing? If you are, iHeartMedia can help you reach your goals and find new customers. We reach more consumers in your target area than anyone else. And we can give you access to those potential customers more cost-effectively across radio, digital, podcasting, and so forth. We'd love to show you how iHeartMedia can work for you. From your cell, dial #250 and say keyword great result. That's #250 and say great result.
This is Leland Smith, founder of Service Champions Plumbing, Heating, and AC. Another good deed for free. Sometimes it's just the little things that makes all the difference in the world. Like when our technician David was asked for a little help by a customer with Parkinson's disease. Her caregiver wasn't available, and she had a 6-pack of Gatorade stuck in those plastic ring holders. David got
What
the
the fuck
freaking
was that
plastic.
together?
She also
Beaten
secured
up.
trouble with the caps.
Oh,
David
man.
then
Fuck
unstuck
that
the caps with
later.
all six bottles, removing them completely, and then putting them back on. He wanted to make sure it would be easy for her later. David also noticed a delivery of medicine and brought that into the house. He said he really enjoyed helping her out, especially because of her upbeat attitude. Thanks, David. Keep those good deeds for free coming. Service Champions, plumbing, heating, AC, and good deeds for free.
Are you looking for a way to protect your portfolio against the volatility of the stock market?
Yo, dog. Let's just not play the coolest part of the song. You only do that part. I don't give a shit. Then do the sickest part.
Or get started at FNRPradio.com. That's FNRPRadio.com. Co-workers would like to see what annual returns and quarterly tax distributions our investors are earning. 888-301-9010 or
No, they have where the walls come tumbling down. When you do, I'll be right behind you. So glad we almost made it. So sad we had to fade it. Everybody wants to.
Stories of disturbing and vicious cases of possession. For the last 2 decades, Father Carlos Martin has encountered evil in
There you go, baby.
every way imaginable.
Your R's, chin. Oh, dude. Fire.
Levitations, vomiting, spitting at the all of that has not been a movie.
Oh, the dog, fire.
I've seen that firsthand.
Listen to The Exorcist Files on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Yo, dog.
But it's a new type of symptom.
Roommate, the light will find you. Holding hands while the walls come tumbling down. When you do, I'll be right behind you. So glad we almost made it. So sad we have to fade it. Everybody wants to rule the world. Let's play it first.
Gary and Shannon. KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Coming up in the next hour, we have so much to get to. We have, Legos have entered Strange Times. That's exciting.
We also are going to be talking about picoftheday.
Today. Incredible. I celebrated several days.
the week.
I did. I celebrated it 2 days because my husband was out of town. And when my husband was out of town, I eat like a 15-year-old boy. So I had pizza back-to-back nights this week. And then I hid the box.
Before I pull it on, I'm gonna make it. I say I'm here. And on with my hand now. And one more dress to wear. I say a little bit more. No, I just want myself because I'm
through our social media at Gary and Shannon. But we're down into round 3 now of our big bowl of chips, where you get to determine the best snack food for your Super Bowl party. Doritos versus Cheetos in one side, and then Cape Cod potato chips versus the Ruffles sour cream and cheddar on the other side. And then the winners from today will match up tomorrow in the championship.
It's like Duke, North Carolina, Kentucky, and then like
University of Maryland, Baltimore County.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we did. So Robin had a good idea that we'll get to right after your chance at $1,000.
Now, your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keywords on our website. Grand. That's Grand. G-R-A-N-D. Enter it now at KFIAM640.com/cash. Powered by Sweet Games Accident Attorneys. It isn't an accident. Winning is everything. Call the winning attorneys at Sweet Games. 800-500-5200. That's 800-500-5200 or
that was cool when you were like la 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 la.
Goes on the website.
Really?
KFIAM640.com/cash. We need to notify via email.
So we were talking about the passing of Burt Bacharach and different responses to that. And you had us listening to his music for the entire first hour. And I said, you know, I need my do something to counteract it. And he said, well, that's a really song.
I listen to the trumpet of Jesus.
Not the one I'm looking for.
Look at that booty, show me the booty, give me the booty, I want the booty, back up the booty, I need the booty, I like the booty, hold on the booty, shaking that booty, I saw the booty, I want the booty, Lord, what a booty, bring on the booty, give me the booty, love the booty, I round the booty.
Oh, wait, you can see me? Yeah. No, here, you see me. No, I see you. Well, I do like the fact that he was dancing, even if I was the only one who could see him. I was trying to impress you, Gary. You always do, baby. You always do, baby. We're in the middle of swamp walk. We're talking about what's going on in Washington, D.C. We're mentioning this interview, President Biden sat down with Judy Woodruff and Pete last night. We were talking about the good old days before light and fire. And one of the questions was about the age issue, which nobody wants to talk about for some reason in the Democratic side of the panel. But the age issue going into a run for the presidency. Because remember, officially he hasn't said he's run.
He had to talk about his obesity. Why can't somebody talk about their age?
Perfect. It's an excellent question.
The indication is realistic. We haven't announced yet.
Perfect. It's an excellent question.
The indication is realistic. We haven't announced yet. The Democrats, though, is really hard. I think we wonder about his age. He's an industry. They have an election 86. If he is successful and elected and finished that term, they're losing it. tell them anything. They don't realize it. That's just because I know my grandfather, when his home was a grocery store,
Wasted 95% of that up with somebody. The first answer is,
right,
I mean, you're talking about taking a certain amount of distance away from somebody who is used to having the freedom for their years old. They had the freedom of kindness for 55 of those years.
right. The other thing is,
55 of those years.
right. The other thing is, living without the passion that life was able to do something. Yeah, that is your political home. I have to do
Just like
I
what
do
but
what
yeah,
I feel for what have you. It's a
expression.
terrible place to be in, you know, but it's very
Hell,
true that for the person in question doesn't compete for that because they've always been capable of handling the car, the house, everything. And so why wouldn't you think that he's got it in him?
There's the one video I just said it once. There are videos that you see on social media that simply post him walking or doing that new run thing where you have to for a couple of steps, like you want to play Marine One or something like that. That's I went through is as they packed up my offices to meet them, they didn't do the kind of job that had been done to go thoroughly through every piece of literature there. You're getting specifics about the packing of the materials, but we know it's not the president or vice president responsible for putting that stuff in boxes. The other thing I was listening today was a story that was developing a Democratic congresswoman out of Minnesota who was assaulted this morning in an elevator.
Why don't you do it? But like, yes, it would be nice. Why wouldn't you start with that, dog?
She did suffer some bruising, but is otherwise physically okay. You can imagine it's probably pretty terrifying. So.
Also in that interview with Thursday,
That's why they started the song there. It's like, no, we know where the best part of the song is. No, I'm not saying it's the best part, but it's like how. That's the song. We both I feel my heart and I know complicated because I can't wait to. Oh, I need some time. I am. So then, you know, everybody. Before I give my heart away, before I give my heart away, and I'm not obligated to pay because I pay them too. Oh, some time off from that emotion, time to make my heart back off the floor. Oh, when that all comes round, without emotion, it's comes down with devotion. When I need something, baby, when I don't keep going. And I have to all that need some time from that emotion. Time to get my heart back off the floor. Oh, when that love comes out with that devotion. When it takes control of me, baby, but I don't need to go. Strong man, baby, but I'm showing you love.
And the late show on CBS is ending with James Corden. The show has been on the air for 30 years.
the last 8. He is
Oh,
leading
the
at
whole
the end of
show's
the
on.
season. We are going to go back to 10 next.
So we've been talking about Solar Max for several years now.
Some I'm gonna stop this one. I don't like it. Why? Sure, people love it, but I don't like how much it. It's like, all right.
Call SolarMax, get a 12-panel system for zero down at $59.99 a month. The most powerful solar panels on the market.
Plus, you're going to want to lock in those genuine 2.0 benefits before April 13th.
What? Oh, I gotta do it all again.
Pound 250 from your cell phone, save it to your Solar Max. Pound 250 Solar Max.
Why wouldn't you remember this? Such a bad. Really? Why not? Okay, done. Are you done? Got it.
Running out of hot water? Visit waterheatersonly.com. Quick service, friendly technicians, low prices.
An iHeartRadio station.
Download the free iHeartRadio app for all your music, radio, and podcasts. Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. But the stories that we are part of buildings were toppled on both sides of the border when those earthquakes hit on Monday, and several aftershocks have made things even worse. The death toll is continuing to rise. Rescue workers have been searching for survivors
but we're reaching what they refer to as the survivability window, and it's
ViralRabbi.
close to the chances of someone surviving, for example, in a collapsed building like this, even if they have space to stay alive. The conditions there, with the temperatures down well below freezing in some areas, we're going to shrink that window even more.
Thursdays at this time, we like to get all of your texts.
Please tell everyone you know and share it. Please tell everyone you know and share it on social media, period. It will make you a trillionaire and help bring world peace.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks. How about you guys? Top of the morning to you.
I feel like I haven't talked to you in so long since I was off last week. Nice to hear your voice.
Likewise, thanks for the time. I was looking forward to our Tech Talk Thursday chat because you like informing young people about smart things. So you're not technically challenged, maybe.
I like that.
You're not challenged. You're not we have this, which is inundated with headlines about ChatGPT, about Bard, now Alphabet, which is Google, obviously, and Microsoft are going after each other again when it comes to this fight over artificial intelligence. Where do we stand and what's going on between these two? So both ChatGPT, which came out in November, and Microsoft just made a $10 billion investment in the company, and Bard from Google are both what we refer to as artificial intelligence. In plain English, these are chatbots that are highly intelligent, so you can talk with it like you would another human, and you're going to get very fast and accurate results. Whatever you want to ask it, you can say, write me a 300-word speech, for my brother-in-law's wedding this weekend, or write me a business plan, write a line of code. Like, it's Sogo now made an investment, so they're now going head-to-head with Microsoft because they plan on integrating all of this into search, a highly lucrative part of their business, and they want us to use their services over the others. So Microsoft sees this as a way to fight back against Google. They've conceded, not a lot of people use Bing compared to Google over the past, 15 or so years. So this is a means to catch up, maybe even eclipse them, because it's providing really fast and accurate results, whatever you want to talk to it about it in air quotes. But Google's not going to take this line down, so they too are investing in artificial intelligence. But as we saw yesterday, when their AI made a mistake, it cost about $100 billion in Alphabet's market cap. It lost because of an error in the demo with Google Bard that was a bit of egg on their face and cost them, they're starting to pay. But yeah, this is it is the next gold rush, if you will. Yahoo has a generative AI engine apparently, and they were big in the 90s for search. So what comes around goes around.
I guess I have a problem with the necessity of this, and is it just a convenience? Because I can type in the not nonsense, but a syntactically incorrect group of words into Google or whatever search engine, and probably come up with what I'm looking for. I don't have to ask it a very well, written out sentence.
Yeah, if it's just looking for something on the web, then yeah, how much faster can it be than using Google? Right? But this is way more than that. This is like having an AI assistant. It's like having an executive assistant at your beck and call that is going to help you, whatever you need to do, personally or professionally, in an instant. And again, you can't ask to write a speech for you or to write as a journalist. My work is threatened because you can have this write an article. You can say, give me a 650 article about accurate as we saw. There are limitations, but that's the idea of Gary. It's not just about finding a website. It goes above and beyond that, being that for you, whether it's code, writing a business plan, finding a recipe for something, and creating something, not just finding something already on the web.
Mark, asking for love where you shouldn't. Apparently, $1 billion was taken from victims last year.
Good news is the number of people who have been scammed through these dating sites or other kind of romance scams has dropped as much as 10% over the year prior. The bad news is that how much people have shelled out has risen to an all-time high of about $1 billion. So yeah, with Valentine's Day, it's a good reminder that if you're chatting with somebody, there's a couple of red flags that you should not fall for, no matter how charismatic the person is over the internet.
number one, if they're reluctant to meet up with you in real life, but they're trying to court you and want to take you off that dating platform and onto a private platform, that's a bit odd. That they don't want to meet, or they always have a reason why they can't meet. And then, of course, they hit you up for money because they can do this in person too. Of course, you can meet someone in person, then they can hit you up for money and be a fraudster. It's a lot more convenient for them to do it with hundreds, if not thousands, of people simultaneously. Right? If they ask for you to send money, that's a red flag. If it's in cryptocurrency or a Google Play gift card, these are all red flags. So just be aware that there are these fraudsters out there. Valentine's Day isn't just about romance and chocolate. It's about fraud and deception, unfortunately for many. So, and very delicately warn you've got relatives, you've got friends who may
A man in Orange County has himself to other people. The man is also facing attempted burglary charge. The break-ins happened early Sunday morning. A 6-year-old gelding has died while training at Santa Anita Park. It's the 4th death of a horse at the track in Arcadia this year. The California Horse Racing Board says the horse yesterday suffered a sudden death and did not give any detail. Southland weather from KFI: sunny and windy in some places, highs upper 50s to low 60s. This report brought to you by El Monte RV. From the Southern California Toyota dealers shopping center, let's go places. We're going to install on the 405 in West LA. So this 405 northbound right of Moraga Drive. It's a disabled big red broken transmission. It is in the middle lanes, and you've got some of the traffic from Wilshire Boulevard in Winnetka Avenue. Northbound and southbound is still shut between Martinez Street and Nordoff Street due to that earlier accident. Norwalk, 105 east on the 605. The right lane still taken out with that accident. It's heavy from Fairmount Boulevard in Ontario, and west on between 4th Street and Newport Avenue. That crash still is only south right now. It is heavy from Millicent Avenue. KFI in the sky, and I'll get you there faster. I'm Jimmy Honda.
Get 10% off of your night rate and receive $200 for travel from now to May 13th. Promo code SPRING2030. For more information, visit RemontiRV.com or call 800-337-2149.
This report is sponsored by Think It Up. Think It Up is an initiative to activate student-powered, teacher-led learning projects.
Okay, let's hear it.
Students and teachers, how can you spark great learning experiences in your classrooms today?
California just changed the law for solar. Instead, new solar customers will get 75% less compensation. The good news is you can lock in the great rates of the current system, but you need to have your solar documents filed.
Yeah, people go, what? That's a great part. No, he needs that part where I'll be your daddy. Really? Quiet at the end is the best. Yeah.
This Valentine's Day, give a little bit of love with fresh flowers from Seder Brothers Market. Whether you're shopping for your sweetheart, your mom, your
Enough of that. Till the end, I will be your father. I will be your
There's a better solution. A light source salt-free water system.
anything you want. I will be your father. I think so. Till the end, I will be your father. I will be your father. I'll be your daddy. Oh, I will be the one who loves you. I will be the one who loves you till the end. I will be your father. I will be your I will be your Enough of that. I wouldn't go and want to love you till the end. I will be your father. I will be your father. I'll be your daddy. Wow. I will be the one who loves you till the end.
Great argument. Well, no, it's not. A lot of stuff has to go very, very wrong for that to happen. Gary and Shannon, AFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Top of the hour, we have our trending stories. We're going to do our small business shout out. Our strange science stack is full of all kinds of crazy stuff.
Oh my gosh, did you see the story about the largest penguin that ever lived?
I would put a saddle on that Sally and ride it through New Zealand.
You would not. You watch your mouth. Kind of don't, because you know you like to talk about gonorrhea.
Gonorrhea. Why do you always have gonorrhea stories, by the way, that come up?
Yeah, Mondo. Are you dealing with something we need to know
There's
about?
a lot of stuff. Oh. Gonorrhea.
Fumes ask?
Like you are. And
You don't know.
I believe that.
Hell yeah, I got what it takes, baby. Gotta have that confidence.
80 years old. You're gonna eventually.
We are, we are.
Hopefully. And
Oh, you went wild. We went wild because we were. Shout out to this one chick, Winona. It was the first time I ever heard this name, Winona, right here. Winona Judge. And this one chick who used to live in our neighborhood where I used to live there. I don't know, we used to pick her up. Really, yeah, she's there for instance. I always thought that
Just for the rest of the week.
The big game this Sunday, featuring Philadelphia, Kansas City coverage beginning at 11, kickoff at 3:30 on your home of the big game. AM 570 LA Sports, brought to you by the Ford F-150.
It's become an absolute carnival.
It is
Coaches and players out on the field usually, and they set up stages, different areas where reporters can kind of go through and find the most famous player of the week, or the head coach, or the star quarterback, or whatever.
leading up to the Super Bowl. All the questions, the relevant questions, have been asked and answered.
You're right, and nobody needs any more of the cliches like we're just going to put our heads down, jersey, not the name on the back.
All of that crap.
All of it, we've all heard it before.
I also understand the importance of staying loose heading up to the Super Bowl. It's very difficult.
Sure.
All the pomp and circumstance, especially if you've never been there before, all of the pageantry. It's important to keep your guys loose. So I understand Andy Reid going up there and allowing whatever question to be asked of him, like, who are your 3 favorite current rappers? What kind of coffee do you drink? Who he was asked yesterday. And he says, I don't drink coffee. And they say, well, what do you get in the morning to wake you up? And he's like, I just get up and go. I've got nonstop energy for a chubby guy. You know, it's those kind of lines that keep your guys loose, you know? And the questions are sometimes, they're said with such seriousness because the reporters don't maybe know how silly they're being. Like the one who told Jalen Hurts, I didn't think that you could quarterback a team to the Super Bowl, but I was wrong and I'm sorry. Jalen Hurts doesn't give anything.
Right.
What you think about him, 145-pound guy from Milwaukee, sports writer, dude. It's like he does not care.
But it's
You don't have to apologize.
for that, for the guy like that, or people that do that. It's an opportunity for them to try to make themselves go viral by asking the craziest questions. That's really frustrating. And I can't imagine that these players and coaches want to be that person that helps, Joe Schmo out of a WMTJ or whatever it is get his viral moment. For example. And I also think part of it is that there's this game itself and the lead up to it is paid attention to by international media.
Sure.
So when somebody asks one of the Patriots players back at Super Bowl 31, would you like to see the AFC win the Super Bowl? And almost when I read that, I think to myself, it's an idiot. Like, why would you ask a question like that? That was like, I know that this was done in jest, but somebody asked me, Sirianni, the head coach of the Eagles, please pick them up and enjoy.
this is even the best one.
That was that. I heard that question. That dude was not trying to be funny. Like he was serious. But sometimes the question comes to you. Okay, do you know who asked you? No.
Oh, okay. Well, I think if I told you who asked it, you would say, oh, of course, I'm serious.
Who was it?
It was Jason.
This is the best.
Oh, better.
This one.
That's why I don't think it.
But he sounded like he was maybe
This
he
one.
was Okay. But sometimes, you're in line to ask a question, and maybe your question's been taken. But you gotta come up with something. And get out nervous.
So hold up to that.
Take the sports worshiper. And say something stupid.
Just do the whole
Starts
fucking
the ego
song.
to that. Who are the egos who give us that consideration?
Backwards.
My daughter's 5 years old.
Hold on. And I won't let you go, my lady. Put your tiny hand in mine. Anything you have in mind.
But they asked Joe Montana, why did they call you boomer? The only boomer I've ever known
They are
is
to the child.
So that would have been
Ding, 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 ding. My love is overselling. You're so heavy. It's a smile. So hold on, and I won't let you go. My baby, I will be your father figure. Put your tiny hand in mine. We can teach you anything you have in mind. I have had another.
And I guess now,
Oh, that was really cool.
taken on the level of Damashek and others trying to be funny, asking the dumbest questions.
I don't. Are trying to make it more appealing to a wider audience by allowing stupidity like that?
Yeah,
I think they're trying to say, I think there's too many days
Hey, dog.
between the championship games and the Super Bowl. I don't think you need 2 weeks of hype, but there's just so
Where else
much
are you going to
be
put the
made.
Pro Bowl?
Why?
Like on the middle school campus where people want. Although those guys look like they were having fun, which is rare to see at the Pro Bowl. Like they look like they were having fun about flag football.
But they played 3 of them, or they played 3 individual games.
Yeah, they did like the best jump or like,
It was a lot. It was too much. Yeah, and they did it all on Saturday, so when they edited it together on Sunday,
I got done. It's like I have
watch
done.
highlights of social media. I saw a little bit of George Kittle, and it made me sad.
you did the better version of it, which was give me about 5 minutes, and that would be enough.
Right. I saw Derwin James playing dodgeball. That was cool, but I don't need a whole Saturday of that for Sunday, whatever the hell it was.
All right, coming back. All of our trending stories right here on Carrie and Shane.
More informative, more engaging, more stimulating. KFI.
KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
Carjacking scam. I'm Jeff Lamar, live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. The LA County Sheriff's Department is looking for more people who are scammed out of their cars in the Southgate area.
At least 15 people had their cars stolen in the scam. Some of them were jacked at gunpoint. Captain Mark Rodriguez says the car thieves lured most of the people they stole from to the Walmart parking lot in Southgate.
Victims were drawn to meet the suspects by a false business proposition on Facebook, offering cash for transporting merchandise to the Fresno area in California.
Investigators say they began looking into the carjackings in early January. Both thieves have been arrested. However, not every car has been returned as the stolen cars are being shipped to Mexico. Blake Trolley, KFI News.
A new bill has been introduced in California that would allow for candidates to cater at private events. Assemblyman Ash Carlos of the bill aims to amend existing laws. Currently, state law only allows for event organizers to provide candidates themselves for temporary public events. If passed, the new bill would allow for candidates or companies to get catering licenses and offer their services at private events. Continues to ban the LGBTQ pride flag. Now, City Hall will only fly the American, state, county, city, and armed forces flag.
People focus their smoke I think community this way. Says this motion, which passed 4-3 this week, is about everyone having equal value. He says it's not about the pride flag.
I think it's divisive, and I think it's sad that it got turned into what it was. It wasn't anything against the gay community or anything. I got decent. Councilman Casey McKean agreed. True inclusion by definition, represents
everyone equally. As an American, as a resident of California, Councilwoman Natalie Bozer says it's a 20-year step backward.
By removing the card flag, we send a message out to people that we aren't safe and we aren't inclusive.
Councilman Danny Cowlick says it's an unnecessary PR nightmare.
We want the Olympics in 2028. We want to give a surfing venue and maybe another venue. And the Olympics is about inclusivity. I think it's just a black eye for Huntington Beach.
In Huntington Beach, Corbin Carson, KFI News.
The Auto Club and Mothers Against Drunk Driving joined with police ahead of the big game to warn people about the dangers of drunk or drug driving. LAPD Deputy Chief Donald Graham says special influence because judgment driving is all about judgment.
This weekend is Super Bowl Sunday. It is an American icon. The biggest game of the year. And we want to celebrate it.
DUI crashes over the last 5 more than 1,300 DUI crashes over the last Southwest Airlines. About airlines meltdown during the holidays, more than 15,000 flights were canceled in December, leaving millions of people stranded.
Okay.
We did not have enough winter operation.
Southwest Chief Operating Officer Andrew Watterson says the high rates of cancellation in Denver and Chicago, where 25% of its flight crews are based,
Yours, I like how that phone's super hot. Hey, Tim Cook, doesn't your phone get hot? Oh, yay.
Trucking accident, even a dog bite.
Yo, dog.
Only one firm you got to call, Sweet James.
There it is.
Attorneys, 800, 500,
Because you'd realize it's
For the
fucking.
last 15 years, Sweet James has helped tens of thousands of injured
Maybe
accident
like,
victims.
over the course of a century, it's going to go up 2 degrees.
$1 billion for the clients with
Big fucking
188
deal.
million settled so far.
That's going to melt. Not that much ice. Not like so much ice that it's like, okay, then everybody like moves their beach houses like this much far back. Like it's not going to take over the beach. Right?
Sweet James is sweet to you, but tough on the insurance
Why?
companies to hold them accountable.
With the plans that we have, 100 years, we're fucking floating cities and shit. Okay, so what if I was from here to here? Who gives a shit?
800, 500, 5200, or go to sweetjames.com.
The KFI Financial Report is sponsored by SaddlebackEye.com. The Dow is
Are you
down
done?
203, S&P 500 down 26, NASDAQ down 9. Price per gallon of regular gas in California.
Oh no, it didn't.
For a limited time, get up to $1,800 off LASIK from SaddlebackEye.com.
Oh,
And weather from KFI sunny and windy in some areas. Looking at highs in the mid-70s to around 80s.
Yo, Doc, don't be a douche. Don't be a douche. Yeah, that's fine.
80s in inland and counties. Low to upper 70s
This
in
thing
the
is
inland
just a piece
empire.
of shit.
Right now, it's 79 in Tucson, it's 77 in
Everything
Mission Viejo,
sucks.
76 in Van
I
Nuys,
hate
and 70 in
everything.
Task Force. We're going back to the 105 in Norwalk. 105 eastbound, this is right before it gets to the Good Side Farm. That's right. We're going in the Rocky Lane. We're going to hit those roads all around Boulevard. There's 405 north and the Longer Line. Still look like a Google Bridge in the middle lane. Now it's close from Road to Boulevard. Couple of surface radio feeds. First off, Winnetka Avenue closed in both directions. Between California Street and Nordoff, we do an earlier route. And Beverly Glen, Peterson closed in both directions. Between Aretha Lane and Hebron Lane, this is closed in both directions for emergency road or to test alternate Clearwater Canyon and Benedict Canyon.
It looks like it winks at the end. It should be like, oh, Doc, I was so tight when it was like you were clicking up on the same song, and it was like, oh, yeah, I'll be your daddy. All right, cool, Doc. Oh,
This
fuck.
hour of the Gary and Shannon Show is brought to you by Solamax Technology.
Get a 12-panel system for $0 down and
Dude, check that one.
$59.99 a month. Go to
This is super nice.
SolamaxTech.com.
Hi, Sally Kay with iHeart Hollywood Spotlight. The Gold Derby
Bookmark.
leaderboard continues to give everything everywhere all at once a
Oh,
healthy
sorry,
lead in the
yes.
race for Best Picture. But Best Actor is still up for grabs.
That's
with
so
experts
many.
teetering between Austin Butler and Brendan Fraser.
Is it?
Meanwhile, Variety's Clinton Davis says Colin Farrell was the home field advantage.
Call it the start.
In fact, back to the Best Screenplay category, historically the films that win the Golden Globe also win the Oscar. So if history repeats itself, that honor would go to the Banshees of Inisherin. And lastly, a big congrats to Viola Davis, who
What is
achieved
that
the
thing
coveted
called?
EGOT status after her recent
Podcast.
Grammy win for the narration of her memoir, Finding Me. I just EGOT.
Podcast.
Davis is the 18th EGOT winner in Hollywood history. I'm Ellen Kay. This is iHeart Hollywood Spotlight. I get it.
What the fuck is a hard part?
Have high blood
Pretty
pressure.
cut.
That's why it's important to self-monitor your blood pressure in 4 easy to remember steps.
Yo, Doc,
It
it's
starts
like
with a monitor.
Now that I know my blood pressure now, talk with my doctor. We're getting those numbers down.
Yosh.
Be next to talk to your doctor about your blood pressure numbers is power. Learn more at Manager Association and the American Medical Association.
More stimulating talk.
Who's that one hot chick? And that hot, she was so good. Yeah, that one guy, Mia. Maya? You got a lot.
KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. We'll get you all caught up on Science World coming up after Deborah Haynes at the bottom of the hour.
We do have some information about the congresswoman who was attacked while she was in her own elevator.
What's my
earlier
telephone
this morning. The chief of staff for this congresswoman out of Minnesota had said that she was attacked while she was in the elevator in her apartment building in D.C., but that she only suffered some bruising. She was able to call 911, but the perpetrator apparently took off before they were able to get him. And again, Angie Craig's chief of staff said that she is bruised but is otherwise okay.
What else is going on? Yes, I knew it.
Time for What's Happening.
Rescuers continue to pull survivors beneath all the rubble of the collapsed buildings, thousands of buildings. This is an area impacting 23 million, 20,000 people now today. The hope of finding more people alive is waning, as you can imagine. The temperatures there are freezing.
According to Stephen Godby, a natural hazards expert at Nottingham Trent University, said the survival ratio on average within 24 hours is about 74%. This is if someone is caught in the rubble. After 72 hours, it's 22%. By the fifth day, it's down to 6%. That, I would imagine, is in the most optimum conditions. And we know that those temperatures are below freezing in many countries.
Apparently, there are some food stamp scammers that are stealing millions from poor people here in Los Angeles. It's happening more and more. They're stealing people's personal EBT card information and pilfering their accounts.
Not great news, especially considering these are supposed to be some of the poorest people, the most at risk. They strike, and they say early in the morning of the first few days of every month, hours, sometimes minutes after this, they will deposit benefits onto the cards, and they do the same with food stamps, which is the state also deposits on EBT cards, and they rack up big, huge bills at grocery stores. So you can't really do much about it.
They've got to figure out a tighter program. In LA County, more than $19 million in benefits stolen just in last year alone. That's a 20-fold increase from the year before.
LA is going to be shut down as the largest gas plant, replace it with hydrogen. They voted unanimously yesterday, did the city council, to move forward with an $800 million plan to convert gas-fired power plants to hydrogen. First of its kind project. A bunch of supporters say this is an important step to solve the climate crisis. But everybody else has been saying that's going to be $800 million you're throwing down the toilet. It's not going to work as well as you think it is.
Disney is going to get rid of 7,000 jobs. They're trying to save $5.5 billion. It's a dramatic restructuring at the world's largest
would you be the ultimate sex symbol if you were to bring milk? Would you do anything for bring milk?
Productions include lower spending on programming, and then all the jobs going bye-bye.
We just passed the NBA trade deadline. Lakers have agreed in principle to a trade that would send their point guard Russell Westbrook to the Jazz. 3-team deal that involves the Timberwolves also. As part of the trade, Lakers send Westbrook forward Wyatt Anderson and center Damian Jones to the Jazz. In exchange, they get D'Angelo Russell, whom they drafted the number 2 pick in 2015 from the Timberwolves, and guard Malik Beasley from the Jazz. Just going through, and there's not a whole lot of other. I know this was supposed to be a crazy last-minute trade deadline, but I mean, the Portland Trail Blazers are trading Gary Payton II to the Golden State Warriors.
No, what's that?
I didn't know there was a Gary Payton II.
I did not either. That's why I could look at that.
He and his wife were some of the nicest people the nicest celebrities I ever met in Seattle, outside of my home.
Super bloom swarms are here. Okay, the poppies are popping. And if you want to go take your picture with the poppies, you suck. I mean, Everybody wants to take their picture. The poppies are beautiful, but you're tracing all over the poppies to get your influencer pictures.
I'm also annoyed.
The poor poppies.
That's a perfect example of what annoys me when people take pictures like this. Is you have to contort your body into some weird,
Get the angle.
state to get the picture's too small. I couldn't fit. I couldn't contort my body to get to that spot so that it would look like I was sitting in the poppy field.
Well, I was just going to take your picture with that picture behind you so that you could kind of look like you're in the field of poppies.
Wistfully into the skies. Is that close enough? I don't know if that's close
That's
enough.
pretty good. Wait, maybe move your head a little bit forward and the paper a little bit back.
Yeah.
A little bit behind you, so
Yeah.
now the poppies light up your face. Oh, perfect.
Okay. On Sunday, pregame football, F-35s over the top of the stadium.
It's actually not a bad picture of you.
For the first time ever, the Navy jets that fly over the stadium at the beginning of the game will be piloted by women. Insert driving joke here. I'm not going to because I respect these women in the Navy.
Did you just say that?
F-35s.
All right, I posted Gary's picture amongst the poppies on our Instagram story at Gary and Shannon.
Coming back.
Little influencer you.
Brooklyn Ave. I forgot my felt hat. Go get me my felt hat, Mondo. Brooklyn Avenue Pizza Company. Today happens to be National Pizza Day. I think there's probably 6 of these national pizza. Why don't you leave one out?
Gary and Shannon will continue. Deborah Mark is in the KFI newsroom.
Former Twitter executives have told Congress they made a mistake by blocking a New York Post story about Hunter Biden from the social media. Freed around 222 inmates considered by many to be political prisoners and sent them to the U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken says the prisoners have been jailed for exercising their fundamental freedoms and have endured lengthy injustice. That an account is intended for one household, and those living outside of a home have to sign up for their account. We are going to go to the 210 next.
If you've ever had water damage in your house, you know how much of an absolute nightmare it can be. And if you've had to go through insurance, how much the nightmare compounds when you're dealing with the insurance adjuster who's going to try to pay you so little, you probably won't even be able to repair that water damage. Well, this is when you call Abner Gatt, because Abner Gatt is looking out for you. Abner Gatt is a public insurance adjuster who's on your side, and you may have tried to negotiate on your own. It is not that simple. But Abner Gatt comes in and will negotiate on your behalf, and Abner makes sure that you are getting the best possible outcome, not the insurance company. He and his team have been dealing with insurance companies for years. It is all they do. They've got the experience and the industry know-how that you're going to need and want on your side. They're also rated 5 stars on Yelp, Google, Better Business Bureau. No one messes around with Abner Gatt and his team. So give them a call, 818-917-5256, 818-917-5256, or visit AbnerGatt.com. That's ABNERGAT, AbnerGatt.com, or call him directly, 818-917-5256.
We're going to a crash on the 210 in Duarte.
210 eastbound, this is right before you get to the 605. Brand new crash here. The 2 right lanes are blocked. You're going to hit the brakes on Buena Vista Street. In Ontario, 10 westbound Street, 4th Street, and Euclid Avenue. That crash still has all lanes blocked. It is stopped from Milliken Avenue. Downtown LA, 10 westbound, right at San Pedro Street. Brand new accident blocking the left lanes and a few delays from the 5 to 101. And in South LA, on the 110 northbound before Gage Avenue, that crash still blocking the carpool and the left lane as well. KFI in the Sky helps get you there faster. I'm Jimmy Harmon.
This report is sponsored by Mattress Firm. Mattress Firm's President's Day sale is here. Shop and save up to $500 on Tempur-Pedic adjustable mattress sets. Plus, get a $300 instant gift good towards sleep accessories. Find your dream bed at Mattress Firm. Then cozy up on your new bed because there's nothing better than staying in. Discover life-changing sleep. It's the ultimate Sleep Number event. Save 50% on the Sleep Number 360 limited edition smart bed for a limited time only at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com.
Are you looking for a way to protect your portfolio against the uncertainty of the stock market? Invest in commercial real estate with over $1.5 billion in assets. First National Realty Partners offers investors access to institutional quality real estate featuring national brand tenants such as Walmart, Kroger, Sprouts, Publix, and many others. FNR
Miracles. Yoda.
Or FNRPRADIO.com. Investments are subject to risk,
Look at these
including loss
moves.
of your principal. Securities are only available to
Forward.
accredited investors. Cash distributions are not
Moves. I mean, you
guaranteed, and
really can't
representations
get
made about
better
investment stability reflect FNRP
athleticism than this. It's
Visit
just,
FNRPRadio.com.
it's dumb. What would have been the biggest thing in the history of potty? They have this booth, this where you could make your own video and do calls on a game at College Football Hall of Fame. Why I think it was $20. And $20 back then.
Father Carlos Martins has encountered evil
was so
in nearly every way imaginable.
Really?
When Hollywood portrayed The
Yeah, you
Exorcist,
can't do it yet.
levitations,
See if you
vomiting,
can just,
spitting at the
see
priest,
if you can just
all
tell
of
from
that has
here.
not been a movie for me. I have seen
Hey,
that
John.
firsthand.
See if you can just tell from
Listen to
here.
The Exorcist Files on the
Hey, John.
iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
The lunchroom down the hall, they have donuts and
He's
cookies,
so
etc. On the day that things expire, they put them on the table. So they go, it's yours. 4,600 calories of crap with a Diet Coke.
And in about 20 minutes, we'll be bouncing off the wall.
Okay, and there he goes. And he started already here.
I wonder if that
Smallville
one
handles,
goes
yeah,
on
they
Twitter.
expire today. Live 6
Yeah,
to 9
what's her
a.m.
name?
on KFI. And on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app.
Keep Instagram. Remember when it said keep Instagram open? And then you were like, no. So then what? You were like, hey, dog.
Jerry Shannon, KFI, AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
Some stories we are following for you. Thousands who lost their homes in that catastrophic earthquake are huddling around campfires now.
Yo,
They need
shit.
food and water in the bitter cold. 3 days after that 7.8
Yo,
earthquake struck Turkey and Syria, is just devastation. More than 20,000 people killed there. They're still using picks, shovels, jacks through the twisted metal, the concrete of the thousands of buildings that were just pancaked.
President Zelensky of Ukraine says that a Ukraine that is winning should become a European Union member. He argued that the European Union won't be whole without Ukraine in it. In his comments during an address to the European Parliament on what has become a rare 2-day trip outside of Ukraine. Obviously, they're getting ready for what they expect to be another offensive from Russia.
Before we get to our small business shout out for the week, how about your chance at $1,000?
Now, your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website. Cash. That's cash. C-A-S-H. Enter it now at KFIAM640.com/cash. Powered by Sweet James Accident Attorneys. If you're hurt in an accident, winning is everything. Call the winning attorneys at Sweet 800-500-5200.
Yo, dog.
500-5200 or
Dude,
Sweet James.
this is
Enter
just
that keyword on the website. Go to KFIAM640.com/cash. And then winners are notified
what in the
via email.
fuck?
I mentioned just a quick thing that the two
Dude.
female pilots for the F-35s over the Super Bowl.
Dude.
And I said a crass thing when I said insert
Dude.
women driver joke here.
Yeah.
I would never deign to actually make a joke.
Wow, Gary, how dare you make a joke like that about the women pilot? I'm sure they'll be totally fine as long as they don't have to reverse the play.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Love you, Santa.
That was rough. Clever. But rough. I would have made the joke unless they have to merge.
Or parallel park or
I parallel park like a monster. Because I grew up driving in San Francisco where you have to parallel park.
Hey, it's National Pizza Day.
Well, it coincides Super Bowl week, right? Because people are going to be eating the